everybody, it's Joe from Joe's Computer Museum. Welcome to the stream tonight. I'm also joined by a couple of really cool guests. We've got Frodo Jedi, who is a brand new Patreon patron. Thank you for stopping by. And also we got Trina of Trina's Techno Babble. Again, thanks for everybody for stopping by and my awesome guests here as well. Let's run through and see who do we got here. We got Frank and Teradyne and One Bit Fever Dreams and Everything is a Broken Garage, and Britt is here, and that's the only people I see in here. This is going to be kind of a tangentially related stream tonight because I have a backlog of actual day job work that I need to get done, and it needs to be done by tomorrow morning, and I didn't have time during the day to do it, so we're going to do it tonight and just kind of blow through it, and maybe people will watch and enjoy it, and maybe it'll be informative to folks who have to do this kind of thing for their day jobs. So that's interesting. I'm going to let my two guests introduce themselves real quick. Frodo, go. Tell everybody about yourself or something.
Hi, everybody. I'm Frank, is my real name. And
Hi, Frank.
I've been in IT for quite a long time, and now I own a pest control company, so I'm not really in IT very much anymore. So now it's just a hobby, but I'm glad to be a part of the community and enjoy meeting everybody so far.
Cool beans. And Trina looks like she's hanging out in her jammies, just like chilling.
I'm in my onesie with my two cats curled up in bed because I didn't get much sleep last night. So I don't know how long I'm going to be here, but I thought I'd pop in because I got some sweet merch in the mail today.
Ooh, look at that! I wonder where that came from.
I don't know, but I think it bears a resemblance to the host of this stream. Yeah, just a little bit. Except for I'm not holding your hand on the stream.
Gray quarter zip and all.
And
yeah, it's the same thing.
Oh, and by the way, Frodo, I'm going to take a while to Frank, other Frank, not Frank in the chat. You're still technically in IT because you're still getting rid of bugs.
That is true. That is very true.
Yes, I love
different kind of it's a whole different kind of end user.
Hi, Rudy.
Right.
Absolutely.
Oh, and we got Will that just joined, I see, and Rudy.
But they're both equally annoying, though, right? What the end users?
Oh yes.
Oh
yes.
Yeah. Not
it's
Will
not
and Rudy.
Not Will and Rudy. No, they're great. Trina, did you steal Ryan's joke?
Apparently, even though Ryan's not even here, so.
Yeah, he is. Everything's Broken Garage. He's in the chat.
No. But I mean, he's not in the stream.
Oh, it's officially your joke.
It's officially my joke because he's not here to say it.
Cool. All right. Well, let's start digging in. I'm gonna tell everybody what I'm doing tonight. So, I work for a managed services provider. Technically, I'm a sales engineer, but we are a very small and quite flexible. Just kind of move around and get it done company. So that means I get to do lots of really interesting higher end, I call it higher end, but more advanced tech work that the rest of our techs can't do. This tonight isn't terribly advanced, but it requires, a brain. So I'm going to be doing it. We work really closely.
Is that why you have us here for the brain part?
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to get confused 25 times. I'm going to be what's an IP address again? But we work really closely with a local cable installation guy. His name is Aaron. He might be in the chat tonight. He knows I'm streaming. I told him to come by and watch so he can learn, so he can do it himself. That's a joke on Aaron. Anyway, no, I'm kidding. But we work really closely with him. Managed service providers, you typically will farm out subsections of your work. So, like, if I need a security system, I'll call this guy. Or if I need a cabling installation, I'll call this other guy, and this and that and all that type of stuff. And I have lots of these really close relationships with these companies. Aaron is one locally that I work with. So we help each other out. So when I need something, I'm like, hey, Aaron, can you install these cables for me? When he needs something that's tech related, for example, what we're doing tonight is a UniFi and a point-to-point GigaBeam setup for somebody's home. He's like, Joe, I don't know how to make the thing go. I don't want to know how to make the thing go. I want you to make the thing go and give to me, and I put on building in auto work, auto magically occur. I'm like, okay. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight. The basic details of that are two parts. Number one, trusted advisor role with trusted partners. Exactly what Everything Broken Garage said. So yeah, that's what we do. So what we're going to be doing tonight is twofold. One is setting up a UniFi cloud key with access points from scratch. I'm going to gloss over a lot of the super deep techie details of like VLANs and routing and all that junk because we're not really getting into that. We don't need it as for a residential network. And then the second point is to create a GigaBeam point-to-point setup. Basically, this guy, this homeowner, like many homeowners around here, has GigaBeam. Yes, has a large home campus with a house and a pool house and a barn and a this and that, and he wants to connect them all together. And these GigaBeam devices are way less expensive than running aerial or buried fiber, and they're in many cases faster. So that's what we're going to do as well. Since I had to get it done, and I just want to share doing things with people, I guess. I don't know. So that's what we're doing tonight. So step one, I'm going to change the screen layout a little bit so you guys can be with me, but also
I'm just going to be here to say hi to people that are jumping in. We have Eric's Edge joined us.
Yes.
Garth of Garth Beagle fame has joined us.
Garth Beagle.
I know.
Garth Beagle of Sus fame.
Yes, of Sus fame and Parrot fame.
So get all these bits and pieces here. So the primary setup that we do for a UniFi system is you need a cloud key of some description. I prefer the on-prem cloud key, the physical device. That's just me. I don't like cloudifying things unless they absolutely need to be cloudified. Technically, you can deploy these as an application or as an appliance in the cloud or something like that, but whatever. And then we have the access points. What is you're not really shown over here because it's not important to the discussion are my switch and router over here that I have set up. We're not deploying a UniFi gateway. We're not deploying a UniFi switch in this particular case. So we don't need to know what that stuff is. But the process is going to be about the same if you were to deploy such things. So first things first, what you do when you're going to be setting up something like this in a lab environment is to know the, how can I put it? Know the network, the subnet, brain. Like I picture it in my head, but I don't know the words. The subnet layout of the target network. Since I'm deploying this in a lab, I need to deploy this the same way it's going to be installed on site so that my installer guy, Aaron, can just plug it in and go. It's already pre-programmed on the right IP address scheme with the right DHCP and all that 9 yards. So the way I do that, and let's see if this works. It's working! Yes, my laptop has the thing here. So the way I do that is I have a firewall set up. This is just an old deprecated Sonic wall that I use just for doing stuff at home. Setting, oh, I've been logged out. The password is password.
And you put in the same password everybody else does, a bunch of dots.
Yeah. I mean, like it's popular. Do the popular thing. But yeah, so I set up the network here to match the client's network, so that all the static IP addresses and everything I preset will just be the same and plug it in and go.
This is the first time I've ever seen a Sonic wall that actually worked.
See, everybody hates Sonic walls. We use them exclusively where I work because they work.
Interesting.
I can configure a Sonic wall to do like port forwarding and mapping and VLANs and all that stuff, just like going click, and it works. Trying to do that with any other firewall is like, oh, what random check mark randomly somewhere did you random forget to randomly do?
Oh, I see. I don't
Sonic walls just work.
I don't really use the GUI.
Yeah. like I'm very visual, so I use the GUIs. But like a sonic wall, when you enable a rule, it enables it immediately. It's just on. A lot of other ones, it's like, oh, you've created the rule, but you're a young player, you're a brand new tech. Did you remember to go in and hit the check mark? And what happens is when we deploy, I'll just use Sophos as an example. If I deploy a Sophos, or I have one of my techs deploy a Sophos, they forget those details.
Sure.
And I have to come back in, remote into the device, and be like, you forgot to do that.
Now you could do the same thing with pfSense.
Yeah, you can do the same with pfSense.
You can make templates.
Yes. There's pfSense. There's lots of.
I mean, I use
different ways you can do that.
I just switched to pfSense recently for my firewall stuff, but up until I think just last year, I still used a ASA because I have a Cisco everything. Yeah.
So you guys are busy talking, and all I hear is wah 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 wah. And this is why I got through like the first chapter of networking, the Network Plus through CompTIA.
Yep.
And I closed the book and said, no.
Yeah. I know just enough about networking to be dangerous. I'm not like a high-end TCP/IP guy.
See, that's mostly what I do.
Or IPv6 or any of that. I know enough to get stuff done for the most part.
Most of what I did was routing and switching.
Yeah, I'm not a Cisco guy or anything like that. I don't have the CCNA or any of that. I have School of Hard Knocks. I've learned things by teaching myself. And if I can't figure it out in about 20 minutes, it must not be worth knowing, is the way I see it.
Somebody called me the other day and they're like, can you come set up our network? And I went, no. Just no.
See, that's a common thing. When somebody knows that you do anything IT related, they assume that you know everything.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I have my own side business that I do as well.
Oh, that's awesome. That's right.
So they called me and were like, do you do this? And I'm like, sorry, no. And then after I hung up the phone, one of my coworkers actually went to school for networking. I'm like, do you want a side gig? I have one. I can call the person back, right? I'll give you the phone number and say, I'll call the person back and be like, he's going to call you.
It's all about networking.
Right? No pun intended on that?
No pun intended.
But she said no. She passed.
Oh, come on. Take them side gigs.
I'm like, take those side gigs, yeah.
Yeah, little things on the side help. It helps pay for toys, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of blue scuzzies on a wall behind me. Shh! Don't look at my stock. This step here is the very first step in setting up a UniFi network, in my opinion. Other people may disagree with me. Typically, because I do not use Ubiquity. What are they called? Ubiquity security gateways, the USGs, is to get your cloud key spun up on the default network. And when it boots up, you'll see right here on the screen its IP address that it gets off the DHCP from the network. So you can get into it and do two things first. Number one is you hard set it to an IP, or you go into your DHCP server and give it a static lease. But basically, you want the cloud key to not move. It wants to be in a set spot. I'm going to hard code this manually on the device, only because I do not have access to the client's router to set up a static DHCP lease so it gets the same IP every time. But I know the range, so I can just kind of throw it up at the high end and it'll be out of the way. The second thing after you do that is you run a full spate of updates on it. There's probably going to be 1 or 2 firmware updates it has to pull and reinstall. So you want that all the way up to date before you continue with configuring these guys. This is honestly like the easiest part. UniFi cloud keys and UniFi access points are insanely simple. And this is one of the reasons why we work with them at our MSP, because we can pre-deploy them quickly. And also our level 1 techs can deploy it. It's like plug it in, go into interface, click adopt, wait for light to stop blinking and turn blue. You're done. Close the ticket. I don't have to think about it. They don't have to have any crazy special training or know Cisco iOS or like have the funky pairing processes that some of the other some of the other unified security devices have. And NGFW, they changed the freaking term. It's firewall. It's a freaking firewall, right? Sonic Wall has a built-in solution. Sophos has built-in solutions. Cisco, Aruba, they all do. In my opinion, these are the easiest to work with. So, write your config to NVRAM. Done. Yes. Yep. 10 Dream machines and deployed a bunch of edge routers. The routers are configured using UMS systems, so it's set it and forget it. Yep. I'm gonna
by
wait
the way,
here.
EAP2 Mac effects for the
Oh
security.
yeah, Mac Effects. Woot! $1.99 super sticker. I don't know what the sticker is. What's it look like on the actual chat? It is a Hey You sticker. Woot! Hey You. Thank you, Mac Effects. So it's telling me my IP address is 1.185. So we're going to go into that. //192.168.1.185. Cool. Yep, it's not secure. We know this because it's self-signed. Sure, whatever. Privacy, security. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. It's going to want you to set up the console name. This is the client's name.
So just a question, Joe. So does your company provide the hardware, or is it the guy that's doing the install?
That's a very interesting question. Yeah, that's a very interesting question. This gentleman, he is, how can I put it? He has a reseller agreement with Ubiquity, so that he can resell the equipment. When we needed to deploy something ourselves for one of our clients directly, I actually just buy the hardware from him and then deploy it. Nice. And in this case, he provided the hardware because he can get it directly, and then I configure it for him. That happened. It was a very interesting process by which that happened. I am thinking what this next step here is, because Ubiquity changed the way you can get their products under what circumstances, and we would have had to become an authorized reseller, but he was going to become an authorized reseller right at the same time anyway. So we're like, you just do it, and then we'll just get them from you. So that's basically how we did it.
It's a win-win situation.
Yeah. Then. Yep. We're helping out another local business because there's a little bit of reseller on top of that. And,
of course.
Yep. So I think I want to set this up as a business.
Now I have a quick question, Joe.
Sure.
What's the difference between the cloud key and the security gateway?
Very good question. So the cloud key allows you to configure a whole spate of UniFi devices, and it's the controller effectively for all those devices. It can also, it not only runs the network component, which is like controlling access points, it can also run a voice over IP phone component and what they call their protect component, which is a
the cameras and everything.
As a camera system. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So you would definitely
use those other ones because they're not great, but yeah.
But you would definitely want a cloud key if you didn't put a security gateway in.
Oh yeah, I believe you have to have a cloud key. I don't think the security gateway works without the cloud key. You need the cloud key as a controller in order for that to work.
But what I'm meaning is
you can use I believe the Dream machine combines like a gateway and a cloud key together.
Sure.
So yeah.
But you can't just buy the UniFi access points and just throw them in. You should get a cloud key to configure everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The UniFi access points will not work without a cloud key.
Okay. Good
that said, if you have a network with sufficient infrastructure, you can for example, this is for a home network, so they don't have any real infrastructure.
Sure.
Here in my own home, I have the same setup, but I don't have a cloud key. I have a server that has the UniFi controller installed on it.
So you can run it as like a VM?
You can run it as a VM, or you can like a Linux VM is fine. If you've got an existing Linux box or a Windows machine or anything like that, you can just download and install the app on that, and it does it does the controller part of it automatically. So I'm trying to if I hit skip, I want to hit skip. Now they want you to cloudify your key. And normally I would put that information in here so that I could remotely control this, but I'm live streaming A, and B, I don't need it. So you can hit skip here and create a local account if you like. Proceed without a UI.com account. Cool. Password. I don't know. Sure. You can see that password, but I don't care.
Everybody screenshot shoot time.
For all you know, I'm going to change the password after the stream, so that's fine.
Well,
So
but
create
we
local.
don't know. Bwahaha.
You also don't know where it's being installed or who it's for. So the next point here is send diagnostics performance information. That's up to you. I usually leave that off. You hit next. It confirms all the stuff. We know, hey, everybody knows where I live. I'm in Mount Vernon, Ohio. Time zone and all of that stuff. So we hit finish. So it's going to set up the console, do a whole bunch of stuff.
Actually, I have an envelope with your address on it, so I know more than where you live.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
You get like random stalking in the middle of the night.
Yeah, you'll see me and 2 cats outside your window.
And so the UniFi controller is usually pretty smart. On that first login, it automatically updates. So you can see it doing that here. And yep, that's going to spin for however long it spins. So
You spin me right round, babe. Sorry.
It's gonna be stuck
I
in
was
my head all
told
night.
I was told not to have Joe sing, but nobody said Trina can't sing.
there you go. That's how we do it. Uh-huh. Yup. Yike. 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 What's Gar saying yike to?
Oh, probably my singing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, UniFi needs hold music. And you know, folks are talking in like how it deploys and how much it uses and this and that and the other. Yes. Agreed. The UniFi controller software is it's a hog. But you know, if you have sufficient resources, it's not that big of a deal. In many cases, even with commercial clients, I'll still deploy a cloud key, just so it's its own thing off to the side, and I don't like have it cluttering up a server. So yeah, I don't know how long this is going to take. It's going to sit here and do the thing. In the meantime, we can get these things out. So I'm going to show you the UniFi device we're using here. So this is the UniFi Professional 6, or the UniFi 6 Professional thingadoodle there. This is the new Wi-Fi 6 version of this device. It's a pro device. This is PoE, obviously, so you just plug it into your PoE switch, which I have over here, which is powering this as well at the same time, and it just powers it. Reset button here to do a factory reset if you need to do a factory reset and all of that stuff. Earlier versions of this had a PoE pass-through, but they stopped doing that. Probably because it was crap and they found that this was sucking up all the power and you couldn't run anything off the secondary port. Anyway, but yeah. Joe, 6E, the future is now. Yes. So we'll go ahead and get all these out of here.
They have something looking similar because they have all Ubiquity stuff at a school that I do subcontracting for, and they have those in the ceiling for the Wi-Fi.
Yep. That's exactly it.
Yep.
Ubiquity, I've been a huge fan of them for years.
And by the way, to get back to Pterodine's suggestion, it would be me and 2 kitties looking over the edge of like a 24-inch CRT. Because he said that needs to be a sticker. Trina and 2 kitties looking over the edge of something. And I was thinking like a 24-inch CRT.
I've never used UniFi anything, I don't think. Not that I can recall.
I've been using them for at least 10 years now.
I have a Cisco wireless LAN controller, and I run commercial APs here in the house.
The main reason I like the UniFi is the cost and ease of deployment.
Absolutely.
These are like $150.
That's pretty inexpensive.
You know, and it's got like a 1
to my
gigabit
almost $400. Yeah, I pay almost $400 a piece, and that's through my own company that I have a reseller account for Cisco.
Wow.
Now Cisco's different, of course. They're very,
plus I have to buy a
high-grade
license.
stuff. They're a little bit different, and they're going to arguably have way more customization capability, obviously, because each of those devices is going to have iOS on it, I would presume, and you can get in and like do super fine-grained stuff. Cisco's, if I remember correctly, also have some sort of like AP guard where it'll listen for any access points within its range and deactivate packets to protect from rogue Wi-Fi. which is
Yeah,
really annoying when you have a campus-wide Wi-Fi and you're a food truck and you're trying to like do transactions, but you can't because the Wi-Fi in your truck doesn't work. But whatever. So that kicked me out and it rebooted and it kicked me back in. So the next step here is we got to change the IP address of this device, which we go to the settings here. And we go to system at the left.
So it did the updating, did it, Joe?
Yep, it did the update. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then we go all the way down to network and we change this to static. And the gateway is fine. And I want this to be 250. Sure. Hit confirm changes. Document that. Cool beans. So just going to document those things. Oh no, everybody's going to know the password to this random device that I'm going to change after the stream.
I'll just stay on till after the stream and then let everybody know what the new password is.
There you go. So it has the new IP address now, so we can log back into it with that IP address. Boom, password. Boop, and boop. Control V. Yes. Sign in. Cool. Don't save. Now it has this automatic update feature. I usually set this to just go ahead and do it daily at 3 a.m. It's fine. You hit confirm. That keeps both the controller or cloud key software up to date and also keeps the firmware on the access points up to date. Does it at 3 in the morning when nobody's going to be online anyway, and it just takes care of it. So we want to go to the where do we want to go? We want to go to the settings again, because as you can see, it's got we got more updates, but it's got these extra things installed. So you can see all these different things you can get for the UniFi system, like ID, access, protect, and all this stuff. I'll let you go and figure that out if you want to know what those things are. We don't need these things installed on this controller. So best practices, you uninstall anything that you don't need to have installed. So we're going to click that. We're just going to rip protect out of there because it does not need to be on the device. And it makes you sit here and watch a countdown. I don't know why. It's stupid. UniFi, if you're watching, change it. It's dumb. Just like go. Like you're going to make us look at a countdown for no reason. So that's going to remove from there. So next, it wants us to install these updates again. So we're going to pull even more updates. That is a pretty significant update there. So we're going to pull the update, the UniFi OS update first. So it's just a variant of Linux, basically, and that is that's the actual operating system on this box that it's going to update. So go back to
Can
here.
you change the operating system on the box if you wanted to for some bizarre reason?
In theory, I'm sure that, if you want to hack-a-doodle it or basically jailbreak the thing, you probably could. I've never investigated it. Yeah. Just grab a few apps and then install the controller locally on a machine. Yes, that is a thing that you can do.
And I'm glad that 45 Fahrenheit, 8C Celsius is what Eric considers t-shirt temps. Not so much for me.
Is it going to do it, or it didn't actually do it? I'm watching the controller carefully to see what the deal is. It's being stupid, so we're just going to click the button again. I don't know what it's doing. While it's doing that, we can start plugging in these guys and just have them on the network and ready for the next step.
So you're just plugging them into like an Ethernet cable?
Yep, I'm just plugging them into a power over Ethernet switch.
Okay.
So that we get their network and their power over the same connection.
Sweet. Sorry if I'm asking stupid questions. Again, this is well above my pay grade.
Nope, you're fine. Yeah, power over Ethernet is a standard that allows you to have endpoint devices like this be powered directly from the network connection. Kind of in the same vein as an old school telephone, you just need one cable. You plug in the phone cable and it powers up and works, right? So that's what this standard is. You can't really see these here because the light is very dim on these, but they're blinking a faint white color to let you know that they're booting up. And once we get into the controller and start messing with that, you will be able to see that. Eric's Edge, what is the power draw for each device? Go to Ubiquity's website and look at the specification. I do not remember. Here's the thing that you'll see. It's already seeing. See, it's the controller is already starting to see these access points that I've plugged in. They just show up. So adopting them in is really, really easy. They just show up, you click adopt, it puts all the settings on it, and you're done. Is this
all
update
I can think of
going to work? What's that?
All I can think of is now is those Geico caveman commercials. It's so easy a caveman could do it.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, that's why
Update,
Joe's able to do it, because
I'm a stupid Joe. I'm stupid.
See, I'm just here to give smart ass comments, so ta-da.
That's fine.
And to keep an eye out on the in the chat.
Yeah, and you mentioned in the chat there, Frank, about the about using Raspberry Pis. Yes, they used to be great for this kind of thing. We actually did that for a while. At the beginning of the pandemic, you couldn't get cloud keys, but you could still get Raspberry Pis. So there are several Raspberry Pis we have floating out in the ether. I don't know why this keeps doing. I'm about to power the cycle, this stupid thing. We have several controllers out in the world that are actually Raspberry Pis, because we couldn't get cloud keys to do the deployment, but we could get the Pi. So we got the Pi, installed Linux, put the controller on it, and that's our controller in that case. But yeah, I don't know why this is being dumb. I think we're going to go to System, and we're going to see if we can do a restart console. We're going to click that and just restart it and see if it's being dumb. This usually doesn't have this problem. You can usually just click update and it goes. If Ubiquity is watching, because I did tweet at them about my stream on all of the social medias, can they tell me why it's not working? That would be great. Yeah, again, it usually just works.
Hi, Joe. This is Ubiquity speaking. It's not working because there's something wrong. Thanks.
It's mostly running on cold fusion. That's probably why.
13 watts. Yeah, that's not a lot of power. That's just under the max specification for standard PoE, which is 15.4.
15. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Rebooting. Great. Awesome. Do it. Have you tried turning it off and back on again? That's what we're doing right now, Frank. Silly. We're doing that now.
When I did end user stuff years ago, I used to have a picture behind me on the wall in my office that said, "Before you ask me anything, reboot." It still didn't work.
No.
Nope. Oh, I helped a family friend last night. Her television would not show anything on any of the inputs, and she turned it off and back on with the remote, and it didn't fix it. So I power cycled it by pulling a power plug, and it fixed it. Why do you need to reboot a television? I don't get it. It's a television, but whatever.
Because they're smarter than most people nowadays.
Aha! There you go. You have limited permissions. Well, I don't know why. Update available. Great. Update. Can you do it, please? Go. This may be a really short stream if I can't get this cloud key to work. But at least we can show you the GigaBeams if I can't get this to work tonight.
Do you still have pie from yesterday?
No, I finished my pie. All of my pie today. Yep, I had a big chunk and slice of pie for dinner. Nice. Not dinner, dessert. For dinner. Yeah. I think it's working now. The cloud key is blinking.
There you go.
You can see it. Should mean it's doing its thing now.
You can reboot some people, Frank. You just have to make sure you're wearing steel toes when you're doing it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Anyway. It's being stupid.
Not doing the update.
It's just not doing it. It's blue now. Do it. Go. Go. It's got internet. Maybe maybe it doesn't have internet. Well, no, it's got to have internet because it pulled the update. It sees the access points. I don't know what the deal is. Please do not turn off this console while it's updating. I'm about ready to you mother. Okay. It's getting power cycled. Which it has a built-in battery, so if that's not charged because it shut itself off immediately.
You don't have ports blocked on the Sonic wall, do you?
No. Nope, the Sonic wall's defaulted. Oh my gosh, who's in the background? Who's this guy? Who are you and what are you doing?
Hey, Justin.
Hi, Joe.
Hi.
I got
It's
home
me.
from work and didn't feel like YouTubing right away. And right now I'm eating chips because, well, I was hungry.
Of course, like
figured
it's the one. What? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I figured I could eat chips while I researched the best way to get some files onto Blue Scuzzy.
Well, maybe you can ask me, and maybe I'll know.
I'm thinking I can use one of those new cool tools that are available for the Blue Scuzzy.
Like what? Which cool tool are you thinking about? You tell me so we can like talk about it and coyly suggest that it's some sort of magical thing.
It's the tool that I forget the name of it. And I'm about to go to scuzzy.blue to remember what the name of it is.
Are you talking about the Blue Scuzzy toolbox?
Yeah, that might be it.
Yes. Keep in mind the current release of the Blue Scuzzy toolbox does not have the features you're requesting. You have to have the beta firmware. I think. Which tool? Let me think. I get confused on that. What are you trying to do?
I need to get a couple of stuffit files onto the image, and I don't really want to copy the file to to my Mac to run Basilisk.
Do all of that junk. Processing data. That
Disk Jockey will do it.
Disk Jockey should do it. If you're in Windows, you can use CiderPress, which is my go-to. The file to image copy of function of that on the Blue Scuzzy is in beta at the moment. It's not finished, so you could probably download the tool if Eric has it for download on the GitHub, and use it, and it might work and it might not.
Actually,
so
Disk Jockey is available for Windows now.
Yes, it is.
I'm going to try it.
And I'm going to try this for the 10th time.
You're a glutton for punishment, Justin. Because we know your track record with Windows and anything.
This stream needs more Canadian content.
Okay, so I need to install the .NET 5.0 runtime, and I just got redirected to the sketchiest Microsoft website I have ever seen.
Oh, we need to see this now.
Yeah.
Their main page.
Screen.
I'm pissed off. This thing is not working for me. So we're just going to proceed as if it's not going to work. Does the network network need it updated first?
Present, share screen. I'm sorry, Microsoft, but when you make your web page look like that
does not look correct at all, buddy.
That does not look like a Microsoft website yet. Yet, if I go look at the security certificate, it is. There we go. .net.microsoft.com. It is Microsoft Corporation's. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Except that they're using Unicode values for some of the letters, so it looks like an O, but it's not actually an O, it's some foreign character.
Sneaky.
Or it could be completely legitimate. I don't know.
Oh, wait a minute. The link's
Yeah.
on download.visualstudio.microsoft.com. Now, that's a website I recognize.
Mhm.
I'm not sure why these updates are not working.
I'm sorry, Microsoft. That webpage looks sketch.
I think that's someone stealing something from Microsoft, or like stealing the back end from Microsoft and putting something fishy on the front end.
Yeah, seriously.
I've heard of a lot of people doing that recently with corporate sites. They like
Well-
put code on there and try to hijack it and see how long it takes them to realize it on subpages and subdomains.
Hold on, I got an email the other day. I gotta go into my trash because I trashed it. From a minister. There we are. The Kira Christian Church. And they're looking for 300 hard drives of 1 terabyte. But it's so they have a link.
Oh, yeah.
They have a link at the bottom of their email. But I'm not going to click on the link. So I did a Google search for this Kara Christian Church. By the way, which should be the Kara Bajoran church. Really? I'm sorry, DS9 fan here.
Yeah, Bejor.
Right?
That's what I
Or
just thought.
what was the prophets? That's right. It should be the
Yes.
prophet church, right? The Kara Prophet Church.
Mhm.
Yes.
Right. Anyway, so but there's nothing that comes up under Kara Prophet or Christian Prophet Church. Christian Church. So I saved myself from clicking on a obviously on a fishing expedition.
How much you want to bet this just is an update because their automatic update system is broken right now? UniFi
That's what I was
Cloud
just gonna do.
Key
Google it.
won't update. Just random junk. I'm just reading stuff in the background right now.
I think I'm going to have to go run upstairs and grab my MacBook because
DNS glitch? I don't know. So we're going to go back to here. I'm going to go down here.
Is
Yeah.
Windows, is
Do you see the problem? Who's this? Do you see
DNS.
the problem?
yeah, everything is
It's
broken.
never DNS except when it is, and then it's always
Exactly. I
DNS.
was gonna say
What the hell
funky
kind
DNS
of
in there.
DNS is that? What is that?
Some funky
You know what
DNS
that
in
is?
there.
It's a
Yeah, I was trying to do
localhost.
home. Yeah.
Ryan, yay!
Hey,
Ryan.
Confirm
Good evening.
changes. He was tired of watching me futz around with this UniFi, so he's like, "I'm gonna come in and help you fix it."
Tag, give that to Dad. Come on.
Can't beat Google DNS.
All right, Ryan. I
Yep,
just want
and it's
I
going.
want you to know
It's going now because I
I
can't
made
get
an-
to the internet.
I made an offer on the Need for Speed Porsche Unlimited or
Yeesh.
whatever the name of that game is.
Okay. And did they accept it?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, how much?
$8.
What does it look
like?
$1 million.
Big
It's
box?
the jewel. It's the jewel case.
Still going to send you the big box.
Oh, that's right. Well, I
What is
wanted
that
a
for?
copy
It's
before the.
just the second
Yeah.
one.
So I just bought a CD copy because I remember I wanted that for something, and that way at least I'll have
Was it a
testing
Pentium
something.
1 or Pentium 2? Pentium 2.
The
You're
Pentium
playing
2, yeah,
Pentium.
that's right.
Yeah.
So at least I'll have it for testing until I get the big box.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you that there's a place called archive.org that has all these games archived. And box.
That's totally not a thing that doesn't exist. Do not go to archive.org and look that up because you'll find nothing.
The FBI will show up at your house.
Because I have a small collection of CDs, that's why.
No, over
Yeah.
there. That's all my games.
Excuse me.
Oh,
My,
and Ryan, to answer your
yep.
question on Discord, I had picked a computer. I sent you a picture with it circled.
I don't remember. You know how many people send me stuff?
Oh my god.
I do.
I got a brain like a sieve.
Does that mean I gotta send you a picture again?
Well, as long as it's a picture of the computer and nothing inappropriate.
Well, but you were asking
This
for the
is
inappropriate
Trina we're
stuff,
talking
but-
about, right?
Does
Yeah,
the
I'll
blue,
send you.
Nope,
I'll
I'm
send
not
you
gonna
that
make a
picture
cat.
again.
does the Blue SCSI toolbox work on version 1 boards and 2, or just 2?
Very good question. I do not believe that it works on version 1 mainline. There is a beta version that it works on.
Okay.
If I'm wrong, Eric Helgeson will randomly show up in the chat and prove me wrong because he's got weird itchy ears about that.
God.
He just ran like if anytime I accidentally say something wrong about Blue SCSI, he'll just randomly shows up. So
He was like,
it's
"Summon
fine.
Say his name 3 times.
me."
Eric. So now we're gonna update the OS. Let's do it. Do. Somebody's getting messages.
Yeah, it's me. It's Mastodon or it's going off the rails here.
So-
Someone's going to have to teach me how to send private messages on Mastodon because apparently I haven't.
No, you don't. You just post them on people's walls.
I'm just
Amazing.
completely confused.
Like, look at the noob. Look at the noob.
Completely confused.
I just heard your Badoop go off, Frank, because I just.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, mine is going nuts.
Oh my Jesus, what is going on, boss?
I don't know what I did.
Holy merciful mother of God. Turn this down. Oh God. No, we don't want
What did
vibrate
you
either.
What did you do,
Sorry.
Ryan?
Your gems on them?
Oh, I ordered a
Yeah.
Mac 6200 that I won on eBay yesterday or the day before.
Ooh.
And I
Okay.
just realized because I messaged him and I asked if it shipped because I didn't see any tracking information. It's coming from Scotland.
Ah,
Oh,
Oh,
So that's the delay.
and
what if-
where in the world are you?
I am in New York State,
Okay.
you poor bugger.
US. Yeah.
Have
You
you
have
been
a-
watching Louis Rossman's fight with the New York State?
I did, but he moved to
Oh.
Texas.
He did.
He's in Austin now. He moved out. Well, New York City's terrible anyway, but he moved to Austin, Texas now, I believe it is.
He did. But apparently they had a lien and
Yeah, I saw that.
for his company for over almost 10 years.
And it was a clerical error.
It was a clerical error, but that
Yeah.
means he always talked about how he could never get like financing for stuff. And
Yeah.
that's 100% why.
Oh no.
So apparently the short of it is he when you sign up for a business license in New York State, they send you a temporary tax ID number.
Yeah.
And then eventually you get a permanent tax ID number. And he had been filing tax returns since the beginning under this tax ID number, and they were looking for tax returns for the temporary one.
And for
Oh,
whatever
no.
reason, they had
Yeah.
a main state, or the state of Maine address.
Yeah, PO box in the state of Maine. They were sending correspondence to about late letters and court letters and everything else. Yeah, that
Like,
was crazy.
literally,
Sorry about that.
his company had a warrant for its arrest. Like it was a tax
Wow.
dodge.
Wow.
oh, Eric, I do not need the information on that crystal because it turns out if I had only looked at the photos on my phone, I had a picture of that crystal the whole time.
You never have it until you do, and then you have it.
You see, the thing is, when I create my thumbnails, I always take multiple pictures of the circuit board, and I find the coolest one to use as the background of the thumbnail.
Oh, you have
Right.
patience to actually do that.
Most of the time, yes. Well, anyways, I had forgotten which pictures I took of the 2CI logic board because, quite honestly, that view right there was not exciting at all. But sure enough, right there,
It's crystal.
There it is.
Crystal
yep,
oscillator.
there's both the oscillator and the crystal. So I confirmed that yes, I should have that 32.768 kilohertz crystal, and I should have what I believe is a 50 megahertz oscillator on the battery bombed board.
Put a 66 in it and see what happens.
Dude,
I'm not gonna push my luck on the battery bombed board because I'm actually not even sure the 50 megahertz oscillator is going to result in happiness.
Hmm.
Because the chip that's beside where the oscillator, well, now granted, the oscillator is still on the board, but 2 of its legs are dissolved and it's like cocked up like that and all rusty. So rusty, the
Carolina lean.
Yeah, it's got a little Carolina lean, yeah.
Carolina lean. I haven't heard that term in a long time.
And in fact, actually, let me go grab the board. It's in my oven right now, and I really do need to remove it before I forget it's there.
That's probably a good idea. Chips are going to start sliding off.
No. Right now it's fine. The oven's off, but that would be a bad thing because I usually buy a pizza for the weekend where there's take and bake pizzas.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not the time where I want to preheat the oven to 375 and then realize that logic board is still in the oven because there's
no. It's not like an ultrasonic cleaner where if you accidentally turn it on again, like no harm, no foul.
Yeah. Let me go grab it. I'll show you.
While we're waiting for that to start, thank you to Javier Rivera for updating the design to the Mystic backplate to put the
very cool.
That looks nice.
Yes.
And what printer did you print that on, Joe?
This was printed on the Bamboo Carbon X1. That was printed.
Wow.
I see a lot of videos on that one.
Oops, I have to click the thing because I rebooted the printer. Stand by. Click this. Click that.
You know who's not here this evening? It's retro techie.
True.
Ooh.
Well, he was
on that printer.
He was
there you go.
on Will's stream.
He was.
Yeah.
Maybe he's all streamed out.
Probably not.
Up to date. Yay! Cool.
My Arduino's arrived today, so I can finally build my Mac SE keyboard.
That's
not
awesome.
Mac SE. Mac,
Who's that? Who's this? Who's this?
Can I have it? Can I have it? Can I have it? There's your retro techie.
There you go. Hi, Zodium. How are you?
I'm good. This is like just my default appearance. I swear. It's like if I end up going to Midwest, people will be like, "You're not Joe's doppelganger." What the hell?
Not Joe with Google eyes.
So now it's time to set up the actual Wi-Fi network for the client. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So from the console, you just click on network and it takes you in there. And then you want to go to settings here.
Oh,
because this is where you set up all the Wi-Fi stuff. Pre-configure. Create new Wi-Fi. So the name is going to be whatever this guy's Wi-Fi name is. And the password is going to be this password. Did he write that password down for me?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
They might end up being that. And then I'll just tell him how to change it after the fact. Because this does, like I said, I don't have remote access set up on this. Let me look in my text messages real quick and see if he texted me that information.
Now, you said there was no VLANs on this. Are they doing a guest Wi-Fi or anything?
They are not, because again, it's just for home use. However, the UniFi is really good with that. It has a built-in guest Wi-Fi function that puts you on the same network, but it does its own like layer 3 packet modification, so that you can't get access to anything else on that VLAN.
That's awesome.
Which sucks. So because if you're trying to print to a shared printer, you can't. But it makes it really easy. You just
buy a guest printer.
Yeah. What's that?
You just buy a guest printer.
Yeah, and then they have to plug it in via USB.
Firewire.
Okay. Yes, here's the password. So you're not going to get to see that part.
Yeah.
Password 1, 2, 3.
Exclamation point.
What do you mean the password is Hunter 2?
And I do not need to document that here because, yes. Cool.
Oh, I've got the board.
Oh, there you go.
Add Wi-Fi network. Cool. So the Wi-Fi network is now added, and it adds it with all of the defaults, and that is all perfectly fine. There are no problems with that. All of this stuff is all perfectly fine. You can come back here and turn on the secret nightly channel optimization. I found 99% of the time you don't have to change any of these settings on a UniFi. You just turn it on and it works.
Like the wrong kind of rotisserie.
What?
Like the Roncone rotisserie, set it,
Yeah.
forget it.
Set it, forget it. So now we need to go to the devices and adopt the devices. So we've got all of these devices and they're all in here. So we just hit adopt all in the upper right corner and it will just start adding them all to the network.
It's pretty
And
easy.
if you look
Joe,
closely,
are you labeling them, or are you just doing 1, 2, 3, 4?
I will be labeling them momentarily.
Okay.
For different purposes. The client has listed what goes where, and so that I can do that.
Awesome.
But as you can see, they're blinking blue, which means they're receiving their config.
Nice.
And when they get their config, they'll go solid blue, and that's it.
I don't know if you saw on Ubiquity's website, but they made an announcement due to chip shortages. Your Ubiquity access point may be blue or white in color when it comes to the LED.
No,
I saw
nice.
the box last week, and I had a mixed match. Some of them were blue, and some of them were white.
Oh, you got a mix? Oh,
Yeah.
that's funny. That's nice.
They're not going to do it like the auto manufacturers where they'll ship it to you and then send you the chips later to put in.
Send you the LED. Using your micro solder station.
Yeah.
We're going to send you the title to your car, and then when all the chips arrive, we'll ship your car.
You know, you kid, but stuff like that has actually
does
happened.
happen.
Like,
We expect you to start paying for it as soon as the title arrives.
like people have ordered Teslas that are missing USB ports.
Yeah.
Well, I was joking, but in Carvana's case, they were sending people the car, but not the title.
Yeah, yeah.
They
Oh,
were
I saw about that on
also-
Steve Lado's channel. Yeah.
They were also giving people cars before the financing actually went through too.
Oh yeah. Still
And
waiting
that's
for
why
Carvana to
is in
unload.
trouble.
Oh, it's happening. Don't worry.
Yeah. Yeah.
So these are just downloading their updates. And that's the cool thing about the newer versions of the UniFi controller is that when you adopt a device, it will auto update the firmware to the newest version when you adopt it. In the past, you had to adopt it, then update it. But now it just kind of does that step for you.
So I've
And
got
there
a
you are. They're all adopted and ready.
I've got a question. So, like, let's say for this client here specifically, you're setting all this up. You know, somebody's going to install it, and they call you for troubleshooting. Are you able to access this all online?
In theory, yes. If I go back out to the console, if I go to the main console here and go to, I believe, console settings, there is an option here called remote access. If I turn that on, I can tie this controller, and I'll probably do that after the stream because it's got my private credentials on it for like 100 access.
So to your like MSP account.
Yeah, so I can tie that to that MSP account,
That's
and
awesome.
then as the MSP, I can go into my MSP console and change anything I want.
So, like, let's say they're hiring you for ongoing monthly support or whatever. You can essentially log in once a month, run updates, all that kind of stuff.
Yep,
That's
do whatever
awesome.
I need. Yep.
Or set it, forget it, but bill them monthly for it.
yeah, do that
True.
too.
Automate it.
Or there's
Or
actually
smarter, not harder.
there's a really cool PHP based scripting engine that you can tie into the API of the Cloud Key to proactively check its status, and then tie that back into your ERP or CRM or whatever
That's
software
awesome.
you got.
So it can send you
Watch all
alerts.
that and manage it automatically. Yeah.
My the phone company I used to own, be part of, not anymore. They have it built into Odoo, so Odoo they can look at the entire system just inside their Odoo instance.
Yep.
It's pretty
Did you
pretty
say
handy.
Odo?
Odoo.
You're stuck
Oh,
on
okay.
DS9, aren't you?
I am
Yeah.
stuck on DS9, yeah. Oh, and by the way, Ryan,
Yes.
check your email and save the effing picture.
What's the email?
Ooh, Nick Lopez has a really good question. Do they still have the silly JavaScript that blocks you from using Unicode emoji for SSIDs? I don't know. I've never tried it.
Ooh.
Oh, we
That
gotta
would
try
be
that.
really cool.
That would be fun.
It's like, what's your SSID? Smiley face. Which one?
Smiley face, popsicle.
Oh no,
You're
Joe.
telling
What's
me
your
I-
SSID? Looky
Can
eyes.
I make the googly eyes my SSID?
Yeah, there you go. So
Cue
basically,
Joe
this,
trying it in 3, 2,
this network
1.
is
I've got a spare network I can try it on because for some reason this router has 2 discrete 5 gigahertz networks.
Oh,
So
nice.
The third one I don't use, but it's just there, so I'm gonna try this.
All right.
So we're gonna go ahead and enable the Wi-Fi
That's
and
what's
then go
stupid
do a
with
Wi-Fi
Windows
scan and see
10.
if it shows up.
How many clicks you got to do to get to there?
I'm going to
Right,
stop my
awesome.
camera for a second before I turn this
There it
into
is.
an OnlyFans stream.
Mm-hmm. Hey, look, it's my neighbor's printer.
Well,
Right, googly eyes to it.
yeah.
There you print. Oh my, oh.
Uh-oh. Well,
You got me thinking
Things
things.
happen.
But seriously though, yeah, here's the there's that right there.
Awesome.
Okay, so this reminds me, like, I think I may have asked this of you before, but I'm kind of curious. Where did Anonymous or Ananus come from?
Yes, it is pronounced Inanus. Thank you for pronouncing it correctly. It's not pronounced in anus like everybody thinks it is. Inanus is a word from one of the very first sentences of the Vulgate Latin Bible. It means it has the same root meaning as the English word inane. It means void or empty, without value.
Interesting.
In the beginning, there was nothing. The word in the Bible is inanis. I used it to mean shadowy, mysterious, back in my very early internet days when I was also in high school and in Latin class, because, I gotta be edgy and different. And then
it stood the test of time. I mean, when I was in high school, when I got my first Gmail invite, my Gmail address was itwillet9@gmail.com because I really liked the iBook.
Yeah.
So that has not aged well. Yours, however,
it's still there.
So
Every year
Zodiac-
I double check to see if anonymous.com is open. I think it's still owned by some guy in South Korea. If he ever gets rid of it, I'm going to own that domain too. I've got .com, I've got .net and .org. So
Zodiac,
so that's
thanks
Easy.
for making me feel super old. When I was in high school and got my first Gmail account, Jesus Christ.
this was in 2004, mine.
Yeah, I know. I was well
We
out
know.
of high school by then.
Some of us
I'm just
graduated
saying,
high
thanks
school
for making
before
me
the man
feel
of
I
the
graduated in 04.
I graduated.
Don't worry. Don't worry, Pat. Once we're past 30, which I think all of us are, we can all bask in the oldness together.
Yes. So
I remember
let's
browser
show some
dial-up
of the
internet.
other features of the UniFi system here real quick. Before we get to doing the GigaBeams. The first thing I wanted to do was the devices. You can click on a device and look at specific settings for the device. And get drilled down into very specific data if you want. The big thing is the settings feature. I think is where it is. This version is slightly more updated than the ones I've used recently. Is it overview or insights where you can change the name?
One thing I will say about UniFi is they're a lot like GoDaddy in the fact that the interface changes every time you try to log into it.
Yeah.
Updated. And nothing makes sense.
So here's a feature right here, the locate feature. If I click this button, in theory, it should start blinking. It's not, though. Usually, here, I'll show you.
Latency.
Like this, in theory.
Yeah, it's not it's not blinking the light. Usually, it'll blink the light.
They didn't put that LED in, Joe.
What's that?
And they're sending you that later.
Oh, okay, that's right. So it's not blinking. The other way I found if locate doesn't work. Oh, there it's going. I just didn't take it. So you can see that one up at the top is blinking. So now I know in the user interface which access point it is. So now I can name it in the user interface and know that that's that access point. So for example, if that one is for the barn, I can name it the barn in the user interface here. Then put a label on it that says the barn. And then I know exactly which one's which.
Okay, so
later, if I need to do diagnostics, they say the Wi-Fi in the barn is down. I can look in the user interface without even having to go out to the client site, and I can click and do the buttons.
So how many of the cows are requesting that there's Wi-Fi now in the barn?
You'd be
By
surprised.
barn, they mean we live out in the middle of the nowhere, and we took over a farm, and we redid the farm as the barn as some big like event space or something. I don't know. Rich people around here do that. It's what they do. Gotcha. This particular guy owns a truck manufacturing company that sells all over the Midwest. So yeah. What's up, dorks? I don't know, Adam. Why aren't you in the chat with us?
So if a real farmer walks into this barn, he's going to take one look around and say, "This isn't a barn. This is a glamour.
Yes.
This is like
what is this bullshit?" Yeah. Where did you edit the name? They moved it
under the config.
So Joe, thank you for or whoever it was that mentioned that. Thank you, because now my second 5 gigahertz network is 4 googly eyes.
So it did work.
I put it in the Discord.
When you think about it, that's actually an interesting security thing, because anybody who has a computer that doesn't support Unicode emoji can't connect to it.
Exactly.
Because you can't type it in or select it. It'll like be gobbledygook on the screen. The computer might even crash because it can't interpret the data
until it's assimilated by the Borg.
Yeah,
and the googly eyes apparently were not added to the Unicode spec until 2010.
So everything pre then?
Yeah.
Is the Unicode
there? It is right here.
It's just right here.
So this will be.
Also, while I remember, Joe mentioned something interesting about like how UniFi can monitor things. What was really nice is I actually had a UDM Pro that I was evaluating for a minute because my friend's shop had a spare one that he lent me. And what I found really nice about it is that it, like, the way it monitors my internet connection, because I could see, okay, I can map when Comcast is going down every night. It will show me, even though it was not my primary router. I actually had it like kind of as a secondary off my primary router, but it would show in a very nice, like, colored map. Okay, here's where Comcast is starting to suck, what time of day, what the speed is, and it was super nice to have because, I mean, like Comcast would ever listen to me.
That did that for you?
What was that?
You said that's the Dream Machine that did that for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really nice.
I used to run Packet Tracer for that, and then I'd call the cable company and make them pay me back for the time that I didn't have access.
Yeah.
I
get a prorated charge.
Find the router I have now, I would have probably went with a Dream Machine.
So here in Canada, Bell provides this internet, and you can replace the Bell equipment with a UniFi piece of kit. You take it out, and you don't have to use their router anymore.
Mm-hmm.
However, they get very mad at you when you call about an issue. They're like, "Well, you're not using our piece of equipment. We can't diagnose it." Like, I'm telling you, lady, the cord is off the side of the building. And we can't
Comcast has tried to pull the very same thing
in a box, and that's what they make you do.
That's crazy.
And you go, "Oh, I can't get to your modem." Really? Wow. Who would have thought? Piece of fiber on the ground. Of course, it's not going to work.
Comcast did the same thing to me, and the funny thing is, I actually had their modem for a minute because I evaluated that as an option versus buying a new router, like, anytime soon. And still went down. Still went down at the same time every day, even though they were like, "Yay."
It's your device. I'm like, let me show you your ass.
So are you labeling them as you label them in the machine, Joe?
Yep. Absolutely. So this one's labeled shot, for example. And that's the one that's blinking.
Right.
My OCD is bothering me terribly.
Why?
So we've got
it's not centered.
shot.
It's not centered, but it's also on the front. I always
I put it on the back.
The yellows and falls off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing it the way my guy likes to do it.
Okay,
he likes to put them on the front, so he can walk up, stare up at the ceiling, and see the number. Oh, and he usually uses yellow labels so that the yellow you can't tell.
That's very forward thinking.
That he sticks on the outside of his devices are yellow.
Modern solutions.
Yes.
Well, the yellowing labels just tell you how old your router is.
Yes. I need to stop.
The only thing I can see is with the yellow labels, they just need to be retrofitted.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right?
I will say too, the new UniFi 6 access points are made of magnesium. They're like they're metal. Traditionally, previously they've been sort of plastic. They definitely have some heft. Probably bludgeon someone more.
You know, access point manufacturers should just put like little tiny screens on the access points that you can self-label.
Not a bad idea.
So when
UniFi.
you change it in the interface, like it should just auto update right on the thing, the screen.
Oh, that would
It's
be
interesting
cool.
you mentioned that. Some of the UniFi equipment does that. For example,
Oh, no
the
kidding.
Cloud Key has it on the screen, and the switches will show that as well.
Yeah, they
The
should just
access
do it on the
points don't.
APs.
So
Yeah.
we have one deployment that's all UniFi, switches, router, everything, Dream Machine, and there's an augmented reality app on the phone, and I hold it up to the rack, and it tells me where every cable is going and what.
Cool. I saw a commercial for that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. They
That's
have
pretty
that.
awesome.
It's actually really handy.
Especially with some of the network cables or the network closets I've seen, that would be like at work.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, that would be so handy.
Some of the ones I've seen, it'd be like going to a 3D movie, you know, where you're seeing everything moving, because
Yeah.
rat nest of wires.
Cool.
Exactly.
So this
You get your arm just reached into a massive net trying to find something. Like, I certainly hope there's nothing in here.
Yep.
So
Is in there, he grabs onto you and tries to pull you in. You're like, ah.
Raccoon
Ryan,
jumps out of the rack. It's like,
I'm just about to take off because I'm falling asleep. Not due to Joe's fault, but due to my
Admit it.
customer.
This content is boring.
No, it's actually due to the stupid customer who didn't come by till 10 o'clock last night to
Oh,
pick up his
geez.
computer, and then I couldn't get back to sleep till midnight. So
Oh no.
Trainer, they have this lovely thing now. It's called coffee.
yeah, if I had coffee now, I would be at work tomorrow without any sleep.
Yeah, but you just keep drinking the coffee, and then you don't have to sleep.
Did you get my email?
Did I get your email? Let me see.
Yeah. It seems like my MacBook Air last night, it decided after I went to bed that it just wanted to ramp the fans up.
Oh, nice.
It would like the fans were on and then they'd start slowing down and I'm like, okay, finally I can fall asleep. And then they ramp faster and I'm like, what is going on? And they'd start
Oh, you
slowing
were
down. I'm like,
asleep.
okay.
James, we made
And yeah, and it's like every time they just start ramping faster and faster and faster until I finally wondered, is this thing about to take off?
And it was a MacBook Air.
And then you realize you don't have
Yeah.
it, and it's not
Airs
plugged
have
in.
fans.
And
Yeah.
the Intel ones do.
Oh,
So
the Intel
I
ones.
quit everything but mail, and it was still doing it, but mail wasn't doing anything. So I realized, oh, I uploaded photos from my phone.
You're almost the same size as me now.
Adam.
This is
Oh, you want that Packard
Backblaze.
Bell. Yeah, that's-
Hello. Ah.
It was Backblaze running the backup.
Oh, God.
That's what it
yeah,
was.
Trina, you can
Yeah.
have that Packard Bell. That's not a problem.
Okay, well that's what you
I
said
don't care.
before, but then you forgot about it. So
Like 8 Packard Bells. I could literally give 7 of them away, and you'd still have one.
So we are done with the UniFi setup. That's it. That's all
That's
there is
it.
to it.
Wow.
You can go in here.
Oh.
You can do things like you can create new SSIDs. Like I'm going to just, for example, you can hit the guest hotspot option, and it applies a guest hotspot profile, which it disconnects things between each other. So you can do it for guests, and it's just 2 check. You go boop boop 2 checks, and it's done. It's just guested.
Awesome.
You
And
can do other
also
things.
bolt in a captive portal there as well, which is handy.
Yeah, it does have an option for captive portal. You can get super fancy and have specific SSIDs be locked to specific VLANs. We've done that locally for public Wi-Fi at the public downtown here. We set up a series of these all the way down Main Street. So when there's festivals or anything like that, you can get on the public Wi-Fi.
That's awesome.
It's primarily for the vendors so that they can, so they don't have to have those little mobile hotspots and stuff to do credit card transactions. They just hop on and use it. But it's really nifty. So it's got all this.
I have the same thing set up at the school I work at, and it puts the student internet out on the crappy connection.
Yep.
get the good connection, and the students get the crappy connection.
You can do bandwidth shaping and a whole bunch of other fancy stuff too. But the basics of 99% of what you want to do is what I've just showed you. You log in, you update everything, you adopt the devices, you set an SSID and password, you hit go, and you're done. And that's it. You should set up an SSID as thingamaboob. You mean this? Thingamaboob. There you go. I'm going to take a short restroom break. Because I myself had way too much coffee before the stream. I will be back in a couple minutes, and then we'll show you how to set up GigaBeams. Have any of you set up a GigaBeam setup before?
Nope.
No. You have?
What's a GigaBeam?
GigaBeam is like a point-to-point, like 2 gigabit high-speed wireless connection that emulates a fiber connection. But it is way less expensive than pulling an overhead cable or trenching a con. They're quick
like
and easy.
Multi-beam. It's got like 4 or 5 beams in the actual thing, so it's cool how it works.
It beamforms. It uses like phased array beamforming, and just boop, and it just shoots it right across. And they're so great because you just put them in, point them up at each other, and they're just done. They just work. You're not futzing around with fiber termination and links and like polishing the ends and doing all that junk. You just do it. So
I now finally know how the tractor beam works on the Enterprise.
Yes. I'll be back in just a second. In the meantime, you can watch this thing, that thing.
So while he's gone, I'm also going to take off because my cats are making sleeping look really good. As they're both curled up here with me. So
thank God she's gone. Oh wait.
I'm still here, asshole. But yeah, have a good night, everyone, and see you at the next one.
Good night, Trina.
Good night.
Bye.
So how does one actually send a private message on Mastodon?
You did.
You don't. That's the thing.
Oh, I actually did?
Yeah.
By accident. Purely accident, because I feel like I've done it the same way every time. And
apparently
not.
We've been talking all day. That's just been like posted on my Mastodon.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. See,
I can't figure it. Well, I think it must be the difference between the cell phone and the computer, because the last time I sent you the link right before you joined, I sent it on the computer.
Okay. Because you're going to private messages, right?
Yeah. Normally, I just go to the cell phone app, and then that's what I pull up.
Like if you click on my name and hit direct message. That'll be a private message.
See, I don't see a button for direct message on here.
Pretty sure. I think it's direct message. Got memory.
Actually, it might be the 3 ellipses. So if you go to someone's profile,
okay,
you see the beside the, I guess it'd be the follow or unfollow button, and then the alarm. There's 3 ellipses.
So the 3 seashells.
Yep. Click that, and then direct message.
He doesn't know how to use the 3 seashells.
See, when I click the little... Okay, so I've got... you probably can't see it on my cell phone. I've got Brian pulled up here. And I've got 3 dots. And when I click the 3 dots... See, it's still stupid camera. There we go. When I click the 3 dots, that's all the options it gives me.
Are you following him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yell at it louder.
Yeah, yell it louder.
That's what it was. I didn't hit it on the desk hard enough. It's probably because this is an iPhone 12 Pro, and I didn't upgrade to the 14 yet.
Joe, can you show 1Bit's comment? I think that's
there you go. Click on the little planet to change the privacy between public and to tag to direct people. And he uses Tusky. Yeah, that's the thing with Mastodon. Just like there's a billion Mastodon servers, there's a billion Mastodon apps. So
I need to look into that because I use a certain app. I know Eric uses it too, but not on the same instance. But I don't know what happened, but I can't upload images to BitBang anymore.
See, that's what I'm on right now is BitBang.
See, you're all on BitBang, and I'm on Old Bytes because I started the account before BitBang existed.
Well, see, I
know I can move, I just don't want to.
I went to message Ryan, and he said, message me on Mastodon. And so I went to join BitBang, and then my application set as pending for like a week. So I had to create a
literally
generic
think,
account.
Sean is manually approving people.
Oh, that
so,
makes sense. That makes perfect
he's a busy
sense.
man.
So I
Yeah.
had to wait. So I had to join a generic one just to be able to message Ryan. So now I'm actually in now.
Oh,
Now you're part of the cool kids.
That's right.
I had this board I was trying to show, but you were setting up UniFi devices, so I didn't want to distract you to say
I
make me big
I
for.
should create my own Mastodon instance just for me, and you all can just deal with it. It's going to be jcmisawesome.com.
The supreme chancellor of your own channel.
Yeah, there you go. So now we're going to do the GigaBeams. So the GigaBeams are very interesting. The GigaBeams are not directly managed through a UniFi controller or anything like that. You basically set them up independently of themselves. And the way they like you to do it is use your cell phone to do everything automatically with this stupid freaking app. And I'm like, I want to stab you in the face with a sharp object. You do have to use the cell phone in theory for that primary setup. But once you're into the device and you have it pre-programmed, you can then put it on the network and do the rest of the programming through the computer. It can be a little bit tricky because these are designed to point at each other and they act like an Ethernet cable. So if you have two of these talking to each other, like pointed at each other, and they're both plugged into the same switch, you get a switch loop. So you program that real quick, then you have to disconnect one side from the switch or just give it regular power with a power injector or whatever. So we're going to get this one started. So I typically will set these up one at a time and pre-program them with the IP address information, then come back in later and set them up with what they talk to and all that. So we're going to get this one first. Did he include the power injector for this one? He did. Now, the GigaBeams are special because they're outdoor. They use a lower voltage Ethernet standard. They use the 24-volt standard or the passive PoE standard. In theory, because it reduces the possibility of DC electrolysis. So they're going to have their own little 24-volt injectors. They will not, unless you have a newer UniFi switch that allows you to set the port to 24 volts, you need to use the little injector. I'm using this little cheapy Aruba over here, so I don't have that setting. So we got to do it this way. But that's okay.
They also sell a fantastic little 8-port switch or 5-port switch that's PoE powered. So you for if you had one line into a room or an office and you wanted to have a switch, you plug it to the wall. PoE the switch, and then they'll also do PoE off the switch for a lower voltage. It's pretty cool.
Yep. Get this stuff out of the way. Now this is the part that takes a little bit longer because each of these just takes a while to get it set up until a point to where you can program them easily. Because you got to get it, turn it on, get it online, update the firmware, do the whole process. And the GigaBeams are a little bit weird too, insofar as they don't like to associate or work with each other unless they're all in the same firmware version. If you've got one that's behind, they go weird and do wacky things. So I'm going to need a couple extra Ethernet cables. Oh, I don't know. What cables do we want to use today? I'm going to use these two right there. Sure. Why not? Why not?
Nasal.
Cool. So we need to.
So Joe, how many blue scrubbies have you built right now?
How many have I built? What do you mean? Like in total over my entire history?
In the new version.
Oh, I could 50-ish, somewhere in there. A lot. Maybe 100. I'm not sure exactly. So,
are you taking orders again?
What's that?
Are you taking orders again?
Well, I put 5 up of each type on my website. They sold out in minutes. I put another 5 up, and they sold out in minutes, and then I stopped because I have a lot. So I have plenty of stock. So if there's anybody listening and you go to my website and they're not in stock, if you contact me privately, I can create you a custom order. I just try to limit the number I have available at any one time because, as I said, I need to be able to actually have enough time to do everything that I'm doing, plus get those orders done. If I just open it wide to the maximum stock I have, they will literally all sell out. I'll be an overnight thousandaire, and then we'll be doing nothing but building them for 4 weeks.
And you'll be sad.
And then I'll have a whole bunch of people like, you haven't sent me my product yet. I'm like, well, because I don't make them ahead of time. I don't have time.
You'll end up like Small in your basement, surrounded by blue scuzzies and money.
So there we are. Keeping up. And so this likes to use this silly little app. I have not.
It's really good to put your face right against it.
What's that?
It's good to put your face right against the beam.
Oh yeah, just like right like that.
Yeah, it's good for you.
Why can I now taste air? It's not that powerful, honestly. It's I wouldn't worry about it. So we need to go to this. Now this, I can't really like share my screen on this because it's weird. But they like you to use this UISP app. And it found a new device, so it found this. So via connection with Bluetooth, so in theory I can hit setup and do the programming. I'm going to see if I can do this a different way. I'm going to see if I can do this manually directly through the computer. So I'm going to go to my advanced IP scanner and just do a quick network scan and see if it finds it and see if I can just log into it. And if that works, then I'm just going to do that.
My attic.
What's that?
There's odd noises coming from my attic.
Somebody let the raccoons out.
We don't have raccoons here.
Squirrels?
We don't have squirrels.
Ghosts.
Definitely ghosts.
No, Newfoundland. They're probably moose.
Yes, there's a moose in my attic.
In the attic.
Yep. GigaBeam Plus, right there. Found it. It's kind of hard. You can't really see my screen here. If I were to do that. So basically, I should be able to log directly into the device and just program it directly without using their stupid app. So I'm going to do that. Maybe.
And when you use the app actually will show you the IP address of the device as well. At least I'm pretty sure it does. Oh no.
Accept the risk and continue.
Oh no, you're going to get hacked.
Oh no, and he wants me to
As
set
sketchy
up.
as that Microsoft
What
website.
country? United States, English, sure. Check mark.
Adam, did you get that key off the keyboard after?
Username and password. So
Say again.
Did you get the key off the keyboard after? You were trying to get a key off the last.
Yes, I finally figured out a method with Will's help to figure out how to pry it out. I had to do this crazy method of taking the light bulb out and then using a chip extractor underneath through the hole where the light bulb goes to get the caps lock switch out.
Wow.
It's kind of crazy, but it worked. And now the Apple III keyboard has a caps lock.
Nice.
yay!
Well,
Alpha
Jeremy,
lock, get it right.
Yeah, but mine says caps lock.
Yeah, I know. And so here's the user interface of the system. And in theory, we can go and do a software update from it.
Jeremy, to answer your question, I had used that blue SCSI before, but I don't know. I don't remember if I'd used it since sending it to Eric to have the firmware updated because I was having trouble updating firmware on it. So it was a random blue SCSI I picked off my desk because
DNS must be good.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I thought it was working.
So it's fine. Another thing that I like to do, and we'll just hit update, and we'll have to do this several times. The one thing I like to do with the GigaBeams is, again, either give them a static lease in your DHCP system, or give them a static IP address. Again, that's for later, so you know how to get directly into one of the devices and futz with it if you have to. Again, with with an IP scanner tool like this, you don't necessarily need to do that, but it's helpful. So I just like to do that. Any device that's like I consider a network infrastructure device that gets stuck in place and left there, I almost universally give them static devices, with the exception of things like access points that are controlled by a controller, because they don't need
the same thing.
You do it with the controller. So the controller has a static, my firewall has a static, my switch has a static, that random printer in accounting has a static. Again, a static IP or a static lease on the DHCP server, so it's always at the same place. That also helps with DNS and stuff internally, because then it's just always at the same place. If you have some sort of funky DNS lookup problem, you can literally hard code it in the host file. You're not supposed to do that. Don't do that. I cannot confirm that I have totally done that 1,000 times. And it just solves problems. So.
I've done that on Active Directory.
Okay, Jeremy, don't use an emulator to create a bootable image for that Blue SCSI. What you need to do is download Disk Jockey.
Yes, Disk Jockey.
Download Disk Jockey, use it to create the image, and then put that on your Blue SCSI and install the OS onto that image that way. Or use that image as the hard drive image in your emulator. Do not create the image in your emulator and then expect to be able to boot it, because the way the emulator is working, that image will be missing partitions.
Right. The emulators don't have the concept of partitions, drivers, the partition map, and all that stuff. They don't care. They obfuscate that to the operating system. The real hardware needs all of that stuff set up. So
now
Disk Jockey does all of that for you.
Now, if you have a Mac, Disk Jockey for the Mac can actually take the image, or I believe Disk Jockey for the Mac can take the image from an emulator and fix it so that it has those extra partitions. But it does not appear as if the Windows version can do that yet.
No. The Windows version is simplified because he's not a Windows programmer.
Yeah. The Windows version can create an image that you can then use in an emulator or put on your Blue SCSI, but it can't fix up an image you've already created.
Yay, we're updated.
Yay! Woot! I'm just getting this other access point, or this other point-to-point plugged in, so we can do more than one at a time. That's a thing you learn when you're in IT. While one thing is spinning, you can be doing something else.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I need to do this. This is going to be PoE.
It's not that the emulators hate you, Jeremy. It's just the emulators are doing that obfuscation from the operating system. They actually hate everyone trying to create an image for their Blue SCSI.
Yeah.
Unless you know the one small trick.
One small step for a man, one giant leap for oh my god.
Maybe I should create a video on that for Marcintosh.
Which is right here. Boop.
Actually, I can probably do that.
Light. Cool. Awesome.
I mean, March has what, 60, 90 days in it for all these Marcintosh ideas I have?
It has 365.
Thank you, Joe. Just in time for the next Marcintosh. I love it.
You know, technically, if we had started Marcintosh in 2020, it would have been the longest Marcintosh ever on record.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some would argue we're still stuck in March 2020.
Oh,
I agree.
Disk Jockey needs a modern Mac, Jeremy. I don't think it'll run on a Quicksilver.
No.
Also,
I think there's a version that's written for 10.5 though. Like there's like an offshoot.
Oh, maybe there is. Maybe there is. Let me go.
Lies. I don't know.
I thought there was. I could be wrong. I'm staring at a keyboard, so I don't know.
I ended up using the Blue SCSI in my 9600, and I just used one of the blank 4 gig hard drive images.
Oh, wait a minute. There is a Disk Jockey 1999.
Oh no.
System.
Which I have a feeling was probably written later than 1999, but
no, I think somebody asked for one that would run on an old version of OS 10. And
probably
don't remember the the limits of it, but I know it was able to run on some pretty old stuff.
You can create an image up to 4 gigabytes.
Does not have Ethernet.
Just remember, don't run the one that Eric Helgeson personally has DM'd people because it has a crypto. No, I'm kidding.
That's why I had to wipe and reinstall my computer after I was doing beta testing.
Like, for those not in the know, there was like, so Eric was like, I'm gonna make a version of Disc Jockey for all the Windows users who keep whining about it, and I'm gonna spend no more than 2 minutes making it. So he put together some dumb app, and he's like, now I'm gonna update it. I'm gonna spend no more than 2 minutes on the update. Just like kept adding just more unhinged stuff to it, and it was I have like all the apps saved to my network storage, but it was something to behold.
How big of an image did you create, Jeremy? I have to ask. It's probably an image that's not feasible to like swing around the internet a couple times.
Yeah.
Because my internet service provider is Comcast. They are
Nick Lopez says those come prepared, don't they? So you should be able to configure them. No, they don't. Unless they're talking, unless the other people they're talking to each other in the chat. Yes, you can SSH into the UniFi. The SSH into the UniFi devices' job is to reset the config to the default, or to force it to send out a what's called an inform ping. To say, I'm here, so you can adopt it.
Jeremy, if you want to try zipping that image up, let me know how big it is, and if it's not some size that is completely unwieldy to like upload to a OneDrive folder, I'll fix it for you. And
242.
I mean, obviously, though, trying to upload a 2 gigabyte image would take forever. And it would eat 4 gigabytes of my data cap.
Where do they stick it?
Oh.
You poor people and your data cap, your non-gigabit internet.
Hey, I have gigabit internet downloads. It is like horribly asymmetric.
I have fully symmetric. You know what? Let's do a speed test.
Uh-huh.
No need to flex.
Yeah, everyone in the chat's now like, what's a data cap? What's asymmetric internet? Yeah, I know. I know.
I think I broke Comcast on that because like when I got the X-Fi gateway, I took X-Fi complete because why not? It was only an extra $5 over the I think over the rental fees. I can't remember, but I took that. And because I returned my gateway so fast, like within a couple days, because it wouldn't let me port forward properly, and I got really mad about that. Basically, they still think I'm on unlimited data, even though I returned and canceled the unlimited data plan.
Dude, that's a win.
I've not tried to actually go over the cap, but if I look at my usage stats, it still says unlimited.
Well, Jeremy, can you compress the HDA file into a zip file?
It's done
in Windows.
It's upgrading.
They attempted to put caps here in Canada, but like the 3 major players, one of them tried it, and the other 2 just used it as a way to like get new subscribers. So, join us. And the caps disappeared.
Now, I live in the middle of nowhere, and I remember one time I had HughesNet satellite internet. That was the worst thing ever. You'd watch like 1 or 2 YouTube videos, and then they'd cut you down to like 36K.
Yeah.
It'd be like back on dial-up.
I have a coworker that was on Hughes for the longest time, and he was like, I have to download everything between 2 and 6 a.m.
Yes.
Because my data cap's gone like the first 2 days of the month.
Yeah, you could schedule downloads, but it was a pain in the butt.
Where's the main? This is going to be shop to garage.
And I guess, does anybody here have Starlink?
No, I looked at getting it, but it was still too expensive to buy it and it not be very good.
Oh, you're Jeremy. You're trying to use
to get like proper VoIP to work. You have to have the business, because there's like the business connection overlaps, whereas the home doesn't. You actually get a little packet loss.
Yeah.
When it moves from satellite to satellite. That doesn't happen on the business. The business plan is like $1,500 a month.
Yeah. Starlink business is $500 a month minimum.
Yeah.
Depending on which plan you get.
Now, in fairness, if you compare that to what most businesses are currently paying,
True.
if they're on a vessel or if they're on an oil rig or even an airplane.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. In those cases, yeah, but like my office is in town, and I have fiber internet there, and I pay $70 a month, and that's with my static IPs.
Right. But what is your fiber?
300 by 30.
Okay, so asymmetric.
Yeah.
I want to say
I just signed up. It should be hopefully installed next week. We get 3.5 gig now.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
Symmetrical.
I
don't have anything with a 2.5 gig or a 10 gig option, so I won't ever be able to use the full value, but it would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jeremy, which image file are you trying to use on Eric's GitHub? I'm gonna try to see if I can't help you out getting one of them.
12
with
up
your
on
problem.
fiber? What? What? How is that possible?
What? Who's got what? 400 down, 12 up?
On fiber.
Yep.
Some older providers will do that.
Yeah. Our cable provider here in Canada does that.
They dial it down.
You get a gig down, you get 20 megs up.
I get like 1,400 down and 35 up.
That's foolish.
Right. Jeremy,
I get 200, and when I do a speed test, it nearly takes my town offline.
So all like start shaking their fish. Goes running.
I've actually done that once. I've taken a town offline. I was setting up some proxy ARPs to a VoIP system, and they gave me the wrong block information, and I ended up taking down a lot of the town. Finally, they ended up blocking the IP address just to fix the issue, and then they called me and told me what happened.
Oh no!
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Here we go. So these both have static IPs now. And both
so when I said I get 1,400, don't worry, I'm only getting 505 right now.
Fair enough.
Welcome to California,
because
where right now everybody is getting off work.
Oh,
our local node is overloaded, and Comcast refuses to believe that it's a capacity problem.
So I owned a DSL
They literally every time I say capacity. What was that?
I owned a DSL service provider in the local area where I lived at one point in time. And that was really common with Windstream, who was a big player in our area. And they would oversell their bandwidth all the time. Yep. So when the kids got home from school, 3 or 4 o'clock, everybody's internet slowed down. Yep.
That's what's going on here, because it goes down every night around 7 o'clock at night.
Everybody gets home from work, school. Yeah, that was a big thing for the overselling, especially with DSL.
The thing is I've been I was in contact for Comcast for a good few months over this. They kept sending texts out, and every time I was like, "Are you guys sure this isn't a capacity problem?" And they're like, "No, we upgraded your area during the pandemic. It is not a capacity problem." I'm like, I don't know, man. It smells and quacks and talks like a capacity problem.
If it walks like a capacity problem and quacks like a capacity problem and eats like a capacity problem, it's your cable modem because it's Comcast.
No, it's DNS.
Oh, they tried to say.
It was DNS for me. It's got to be DNS for everybody.
Exactly.
Right?
Always blame DNS.
They've tried to say it's my cable modem. They've tried to say it's my house wiring, which, I mean, to be fair, the house wiring was kind of getting old and crusty, but that wasn't actually the problem. But hey, they did a free full rewire of my house on their dime. So, I'm actually happy about that.
Yeah.
What was that?
You get them down to Joe's house to fix his grounds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. And as you can see, this link, the access points on this link are 4 centimeters apart.
Oh,
Now,
They're
what's
not
the
pointed right at each
distance?
other, so they're not the strongest.
What's the
but they are when
distance
they should get
on those,
together.
Joe?
What's that?
How far apart can you put those apart and still have a really good connection?
If you get to a horizon height of about 400 feet, 25 miles.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
pretty good.
These are designed, actually,
across
the
an ocean.
GigaBeams are designed for backhaul,
That's pretty awesome.
but we
Now,
use
what's
them
the
just
cost
for
on
people's
those?
houses.
How
These
expensive are
are like, gosh, what are these, Ryan? They're like
Like
$250.
$300 or
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
they're
cheap.
not expensive.
That's really
They're
cheap.
insanely affordable.
Holy cow! I
As
could
you
buy
can
like
see now, we've
3 or
gone up
4.
to a link speed of 800 megabits.
I could buy like 3 or 4 of those for the price of one wireless access point here for the Cisco.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's cheap.
Yep.
Yeah. And they work. You install
That's
them
pretty
and you
awesome.
never touch them again. They just
See,
work.
We're
I'm
building a new
looking for my
addition on the
house or
house.
the garage.
Yeah, we're building a new addition on the house, and I have a barn out in the field. And I actually was going to have them dig and run fiber, but this actually may be a better option.
I mean, look at that. It's pulling 1.5 gigabits,
That's pretty awesome.
right? It's just like,
if you
all
want-
right.
Well, I
If
was
you
going to
go
put
on,
10 gig fiber.
LTT's website or Facebook or YouTube. They did Linus did one for his parents' house from mainland Vancouver to an island off,
No kidding.
and it was, I think it was 10 kilometers or 15 kilometers.
Holy
I don't
cow.
know if they have internet now at their cabin on the
And
island.
it's like gigabit internet. It's like,
Yeah,
all right.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's pretty awesome.
And it was like maybe a day, half a day setup from like literally going across the
That's
ocean.
quite impressive.
The GigaBeam system also, if you use their cell phone app, it has an app that you can run that actually will help you live
Line
beam
it up.
them, live aim them.
That's
So-
pretty awesome.
So we have one set of them done. Now I just got to do the other set exactly the same way. Easy peasy.
Now, let's say you put one on like your house and you have 2 outbuildings. Can you use one to broadcast to 2 different ones? Or do
These
you need to go
particular
point to point?
units, no. These are point to point only.
Okay.
The big guys you can, the big air fibers.
Yeah.
No kidding.
They also make point to multi-point ones. They make rocket ACs that will take sector antennas or
Yeah.
omnis, and then you can point multiples to those. Technically speaking, you could with these gigabeams point multiple endpoints at a single gigabeam, but they're designed to have a very tight cone.
Sure.
Their spread is like that. Right?
So you
It's
probably
not-
have.
It's like this. So it probably
fallout.
wouldn't work. Yeah. And Noak Lopez is true to the 60 gigahertz signal the GigaBeam uses does not tolerate trees. I like the standard GigaBeams. These are the pluses, which are the 6 gig only. I like the regular GigaBeams.
Mhm.
They're one step down. They're a little bit cheaper, but they have a built-in 5 gigahertz backup radio. So if
Oh, wow.
you do have issues with the 60 gig, it will hop to the 5. It'll be slower, but it'll maintain a link.
But at least you'll have a link. Yeah.
So
That's pretty awesome.
So like when it's like if it's blizzarding or raining out and you've got a lot of water in the air that's causing a lot of refraction at the 60 gigahertz, the 2 or the 5 will just shoot right through it. So yeah. So now it's time to do the second set.
Link needs improvement. I mean, I know Wind Waker was that bad, but I mean,
Yeah, it's just because the
Too many
60 gigahertz does not tolerate well reflection and stuff like that. These things are literally, I lost connection to the device because I have my thingamaboobs right here. Googly eyes! Because I'm so close to the floor and the wall, it's picking up lots of reflection, and it's just making it. It's like, I don't know what to do with it.
Now, does UniFi have anything for heat mapping?
Yeah. Yes?
I don't know.
Yes? I think so. If not, you can just use a Wi-Fi or something like that.
Probably not.
Adam actually has a really cool piece of software he uses. He's talked to me about it before if he wants to chime in. He's too busy fixing his Apple II.
Sorry, what?
You have a really cool piece of software you use for Wi-Fi heat mapping, don't you?
Yeah, I do that for work. It's what's the company?
I have a Fluke Spectrum analyzer,
There you go.
but I didn't know if, I mean, they're getting better and better with the software.
I mean, if you want to
didn't know
remortgage
that.
your house, sure.
It's good for older buildings, especially like metal buildings and stuff like that.
Yeah, I use most of the time I use NetAlly. It used to be under Fluke. It was Air Magnet Pro.
Yep.
And then I also have a Link Sprinter, a Link, what is it, an Ether Scope,
Ethoscope.
and a bunch of other tools. We do all our stuff is all Cisco stuff. So I use a Cisco AP as
Yeah,
the
that's what I use.
thingy.
Yep.
All
Interesting.
right, so you can close. Those are documented, right? Shop to the garage. Yep. Cool.
Hey, if you press the spacebar 700 times, it works.
Press it another 700 times and it'll stay working for 5 hours.
Doesn't like me.
Desktop. We're going to call this
Hello, Deoxit.
Rob config. I just want to save that document before, in case my computer dies and I don't have my documentation. Okay, so now we just do the second set.
So Deoxit finally went back to normal prices here in Canada.
Well, I'll be at Micro Center Friday, so hopefully Deoxit there is normal price.
It's almost $70 a can here.
Ouch.
Oh, that's
No,
not the right end. I need this end.
Well, that's not
This key switch sucks.
completely explained by VAT and GST and all those other fun fees.
With a bunch of rules changed about what can be shipped across the board considered hazardous material. I think during the pandemic, only flying stuff in and not driving it, so it was deemed a hazardous material.
Now, is that the keg deoxit? The CAIG brand?
Keg, yes.
Keg? Yeah, see, I can buy it on Amazon for $17 a can.
Yeah.
Jeremy, I have like 6 or 7 cans of that stuff, but
Yeah, this stuff.
So Ron, if you need, or Ryan, if you need some, let me know ahead of time before I send your package.
Oh no,
I'll
I
throw
got my
some in
supply.
there.
I'm at the normal, thank God.
Yeah,
$29 normal price
Wow.
here. That's
I need
2
Deoxit Fader, which is actually specifically formulated for potentiometers and
Pots, yeah.
slatters.
You don't want to use standard deoxit in pots. It can cause problems.
Yeah, for standard cleaning, I just use the QD. But I'm out of Deoxit Fader, so I need to get a can or 2 of that.
Has anyone ever used the electro wash?
That sounds like a weird maneuver that shouldn't be public on the internet.
Yeah, no, it's really good for electronics cleaning.
Cleveland
Electro wash.
steamer.
I haven't tried that one yet, considering I caught the QD, the like 12-ounce cans of QD on Amazon for $5 a can, and I bought like 8 cans of it before they probably realized their price was wrong.
Electro wash is made by Chemtronics, and depending on which one you buy, it's around $40 a can.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's expensive, but it works great.
I bought some CRC, I think it's electric motor cleaner.
Yeah.
At Oxford years ago. I bought a case of it. I thought I was buying a can of it for $12.
Oh boy.
So I thought it was brake clean. So I was like, I use that a lot. I'll buy a couple of cans. And no,
Yeah.
I bought cases at least.
Oh wow. It's a good
got
deal
one
though.
in the garage. It works really well when you're cleaning stuff. Electric motors mostly.
Deoxit has a version for gold contacts as well, but I don't know that that's strictly necessary.
I'm not. Yeah, I wouldn't think that it would be.
But yeah, I've heard though that if you're doing a potentiometer or a slider, that you really want to make sure after you clean it, it gets lubricated, and Deoxit Fader has a lubricant in it. Because otherwise it could jam up or
Dry out.
Yeah.
Yep.
dry out.
You always want to have proper lubrication for sure.
Yep. LOL. Absolutely.
More lube.
Joe's just like, I'm afraid of demonetization. What you talking about?
And it's last for 7 seconds. We're fine.
I think it would. The stream would have to take a different route for that to happen.
System. Check now.
Just the German national anthem starts to play. It's like, oh yeah, that's exactly where
Let's try.
you had to bring this.
Do.
Oh,
Not mentioned before.
That was originally written by Buff.
I just heard a Badoop and went to my Discord and realized that was not my Badoop.
Badoop?
I didn't start it. You invaded Poland.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not
all
gonna
the keys work.
Someone's
Yay.
bedooting, and it ain't me.
Badoop.
Not me.
Badoop, Badoop.
I don't make that
Badoop.
noise.
It's probably Joe. I blame Joe.
It's Joe.
I think
There you
that's
go. I
my
just Badooped you
Badooper.
back, Sodium.
It's always Joe.
You can blame me.
So
All
theoretically,
publicity is good publicity. Anyway, sorry.
that's
Go
true.
ahead.
If that 6200 that I ordered that's coming from Scotland, if it shows up with a 220 power supply, can you swap it out for a 120 power supply?
What computer?
I ordered a 6200 that came with a monitor and the computer for like $120 shipped. But
That
I didn't
modern
pay
of a
any
machine
attention.
should be universal.
Okay, because I didn't
Yeah.
pay attention at all to where it was coming from, and when I didn't see tracking after a few days, I messaged them, and it's actually coming from Scotland. So I didn't even give it a thought that it might be 220.
Yeah, like SC and later, like 87, 88 and later, that stuff's usually all.
They have a switch on it.
Welcome to All Things Scottish. If it's not Scottish, it's crap.
They either have a switch or it'll just be universal 122, 40, 50, 60.
Gotcha.
The only thing you'll have to remember with a Scottish Mac is the noise it makes is actually a bagpipe chime.
Well, I'm hoping it's just like Scrooge McDuck and the thing's like loaded with money or something. Who knows?
My SC30 I
Need
got
money!
from the army base in Germany was made in Ireland.
No kidding.
Powered by potatoes.
Interesting.
Powered by
Well,
potatoes.
I mean, the only computer I've bought from internationally was an LC 475, but I actually knew it was coming from Japan, so that wasn't a surprise or
Wasn't a
anything.
surprise. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
I
got
my,
it and you realized it was
Amiga
a left-hand
4000
drive.
from Japan.
Yes.
See,
It had the hard drive
4400.
pulled, so
I sold an Amiga 4000 board like it's got to be 10 years ago or so now. And it was bad. It had cap leaks and the board was pretty damaged. Somebody bought it for $1,400 online at the time.
Synthetic Commanders.
The
I'm
only
waiting.
left-hand drive Mac is the 4400.
I have a friend who used to crack computers back in the 90s
Mhm.
and early 2000s. Anyway, he's gone on other things, but he's always kept a couple of things. One of the things he kept is an Amiga. I have no idea what it is. He refers to it as a Commodore, even though it's an Amiga. From about 1990, maybe 92, 91. It's so
You
I'm
know
not
what
sure
model it was?
or if it's Commodore PC or if it's a sort of late generation Amiga.
Mhm.
It has 5,000 written on it.
Oh, okay.
But he
They
hasn't
had
said any
a
photos of it.
they had a Power PC that came out. I think it was. I don't even know if it actually was made by them. Wasn't it made by a follow-up project, the 5000? Because I think it was
Yeah,
the
and
X500
he
or
says it has
something.
Windows 3.1 on it, but I'm wondering if he's confusing, the Amiga OS with 3.1.
Well, they had a Workbench 3.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what he meant.
I'm just biding my time. Every couple of weeks, I send him a message and say, "Don't forget to send me those photos." And he says, "Oh, I will." And then,
Yeah, because I mean, they had a 2000, they had a 3000, they had a 4000.
Hey, Frank, your order is created based on your request.
Oh, thank you.
you're some fella.
I will hop over online afterwards and pay.
Thank you. Money! Give me money! Give me all your money so we can give it to them!
Money now.
That's an Amazing World of Gumball reference. Anyway.
Joe, that was funny timing when you said that, because guess what I was doing right when you said that?
Placing an order?
Clicking checkout.
Oh.
On your website!
Yes! Give me all the money
is
so I
what,
can
by
do
the
things
way?
for you.
JCM-1.com.
Oops.
It was a
Hi,
tough
everybody. Weird angle.
Okay, Joe,
You
paid,
don't-
done.
You don't have a waffle iron, Joe.
shot.
Yeah,
That's for the
crunch
OnlyFans
waffles.
for later.
I wanted this to be 240.
Wearing the right color pants for it too, man. Missed opportunity.
Yeah, I needed things for Merchantosh, therefore I placed an order with Joe.
Oh, I did that wrong.
Oh.
Crap.
I got an email from Console 5
Oh,
yesterday that
crap.
said half my order.
Did you see what I did?
Delayed.
Oh
It's on
no.
the wrong subnet.
Oh,
Oopsie.
start over.
And it's easy enough to do. I just changed my subnet.
Game
here.
over.
Well-
Has anybody used the Heiko, the digital the tweezers for the SMDs?
Not me.
If I only had a station that supported them.
Well,
Yeah,
funny
not
you
for
say
me.
that. I've got 4, but I don't have the tweezers part, so I didn't know if anybody has actually used them or not.
If I manage to get a hold of one of those stations, that's probably the first thing I'm gonna get.
Well, I
is
will
a set of
send-
those stations.
I will send you. Hang on. I've got 4 of them. I'm not kidding.
Now be careful though.
Yeah, be careful what I threaten, because I'll be placing
So-
I'll be placing an order with ACO.
So I have the holder and the
There we
controller. This is an FT801. It's made for the hot
Jeremy's
tweezers.
like, okay. Or Justin, sorry.
So message me on Discord, and I will be happy to send this to you.
All right.
'Cause like I said, I have 4 of them. So
Well,
I
looks
didn't
like
know, so you try it out and let me know how well they work, and if it works well, then I will go ahead and order one myself.
Looks
And
like
Justin,
I'm putting my money where
are
my
you gonna
mouth
order
is.
the tweezers from?
Hacko
You're not gonna order them
USA.
from eBay or Amazon.
JCM1.com.
Nope,
JCM-1.com.
I'm not ordering by Hacko tweezers from eBay or Amazon or AliExpress
Good.
or
They're best to buy
Banggood
directly
or
from them.
Timu or any of those
learned our
unauthorized
lesson.
websites. Yes, I learned my lesson.
Yeah, they are best to buy from them. I've seen cheap ones where they'll burn up when someone turns it on.
Oh, I bought a Hacko iron for. So here's the short version of the story. So I bought an FM 202 off eBay because I'd read online that they could be a great bargain, and you can still use the T15 tips if you get the right iron holder. So anyways,
I've got a 203.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I've got the next one up, the 203. This one's still supported, the 203.
Yeah, and I think you can actually use SMD tweezers with it as well.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, it's got this is dual.
So I bought the station off eBay. So then I bought a handle off Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Get the handle, start to use the station. I'm actually using it on a live stream. It's working horribly. I mean, I'm noticing solder's not melting
Yeah.
as fast as I thought it should. And someone in the chat confirms, dude, you need to turn your temperature up. But I'm already up at 800 degrees Fahrenheit. No, you're not at 800 degrees Fahrenheit. So I pulled my FX888D back on the bench. So I was like, okay. So Hacko has a customer appreciation sale. I'm thinking it's the 202 is bad because I bought it on eBay, which is where I usually buy everything I regret buying. So I bought an FX951 station only on their customer appreciation sale day. So I got 25% off of it.
Awesome.
But I still spent more than I did on the 202 to get the 951. So get the 951. I plug that iron in. I start to use it on a live stream naturally. Solder is not melting, and I couldn't get it off the bench fast enough before someone called me on it again.
Oh,
That was me. That was me.
Actually, I think Adam might have called me on it again on that
I'm
stream.
like,
He's
Justin, your soldering iron is supposed to be hot.
yeah, I remember that. It was
Professor,
Adam.
Iron, hot.
But I've got it at 800 degrees. No, you don't.
It says 800. What is it really?
So then I set all this aside, and I've had this FX888D on my bench forever until like a month or two ago, and I mentioned something about it, and Thomas Armstrong mentions, oh, you can rewire those. So he sent me the directions, but they were the directions for rewiring it, so you can use it with one of those like generic, the like $50 generic Chinese station.
Oh geez, yeah.
So anyways, I'm telling Thomas, I'm like, I've got it on my bench and I'm describing my problem, and Thomas takes one look at the iron. He's like, dude, that logo's not right. That's not a real Hacko handle.
It's a Faco.
Oh, no.
It's a Faco.
Yeah.
It's a Faco.
I had never noticed it never dawned on me while I was within the return period on that purchase, because I did buy it on Amazon.
Mhm.
It never dawned on me to just simply go look at
Just
the
send
stock
it back.
photo, to just send it back, or to just simply look at the stock photo on Hacko's website.
To compare the two?
To compare the two, yeah, the logo was on the wrong side of the text.
Oopsie.
It was clear as day once I saw it. I'm like, you're right. This is not a real handle. This is fake. The printing's
guys,
wrong.
If it wasn't
Keep
for
having-
failures, we'd never learn.
Keep
Yeah.
not having enough room to hold all the extra keycaps I have laying around. I think this bucket.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that where I'll get a great
Bucket of keycaps.
So you are
Frodo
which-
Jedi.
yes, that's what I was thinking. All right.
Speaking of soldering, does anybody else use the Kester?
Yep. I do.
So I use it with the flux in it. And have you
Yep.
found? So I put together 4 of the version 1 Blue Scuzzy boards today, and I still use the flux. I just found that it was actually easier.
You mean liquid flux with it with the solder?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's specific to the V1
Okay.
boards. Or not the V1 boards, but the blue pill itself. They use like some sort of silver amalgam or something.
Yeah, I had a heck of a time trying to get the solder to flow right. So I was like, screw this.
Just ask Adam. He'll complain loudly.
Well, I was building Blue Scuzzies live on the stream one time, and I ran into the blue pills where it won't take solder.
Yeah.
And I just started throwing the thing around. I'm like, this is broken and defective, and I had to put it down and walk away from it for a while because it was. Yeah,
it was frustrating. I was like, so then I feel stupid because here I am with the tube of flux just putting all down the side, and then instantly it flows right on.
But
And
wait,
then you watch
that's
me
what I
do it,
use.
and I do it without flux with that same Kester solder and make you jealous.
See, I use the same as Bruce, the Amtech, the NC559 ASM TF.
Yeah.
Joe's got the
Buy the
magic touch.
cheapest crap they have on Amazon that comes in a syringe, and it works fine for me.
But wait, oh no! I
That's
just
good.
ordered a bunch of Blue Scuzzy 1.1s. Oh, but I'm going to use flux.
They're
going
cheap.
to have to.
Yeah,
They're
it
cheap.
just,
Yeah.
for some reason, to me, it just seemed like with the flux, it went so much faster.
Version 1s on my website are $10 off across the board because I have 200 of them and they need to go away.
I would buy
Assembled
some
or
except for
disassembled?
Tom Barber gave me like all of them last year.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of boards from Tom Barber, but I don't have like the rest of the parts. So I just, since Joe's got them $10 off, I just ordered a bunch of the whole kits because
I have a bunch of Blue Scuzzy 1 VB25s with no shells, and I'm gonna install them inside Mac like 512s and 128s.
now
Why not? You're not going to see them.
I did order them without bracket though, Joe, because I've already printed the brackets for them. Because I ordered, I think it's Potato Fi's. I printed Potato Fi's LC bracket for the Blue Scuzzy that goes in the hard drive bay.
Oh, that looks nice.
That's
because I've got
Ryan's got one. Yeah.
Joe, is this the one Javier made?
No, that's the version 1. That was designed by Kay Koba.
Right.
Caro's Mac Mods, part of the Satanic Mac Club group. The ones I print, I made a small modification to the clips because I don't know if it's the filament I use or whatever. If I shortened the little hooks because if I don't, they break off every time I install the cap. So I made them a little bit shorter. You'll notice that the lid is a little bit looser, but it'll actually go in without like breaking. Yeah.
Oh.
So, so I've got a bunch of LCs that need Blue Scuzzies.
That son of a bitch, I cracked it.
Did you?
No kidding.
Seriously?
The super glue.
Mother of
Shouldn't
super
have
glue.
opened it.
Yeah.
Tiny bit of super glue.
Yeah.
No, if I don't, I'm just going to pretend I didn't see it.
Yeah. This is the one Javier designed.
In fact,
That's
I
the
bought,
version 2, right?
Yeah, this is the version 2. This is my one I printed yellow, so I know which Blue Scuzzy is mine.
That reminds me of
this.
the yellow
It's
floppies.
mine.
Oh, yeah. There
Hang
you go.
on, I got one here somewhere.
Look at this one.
Yep, you've got the alpha version of the case there. Adam.
Yeah, this came from what's his name? Who's the Blue Scuzzy guy that does the F4s and stuff?
Androda.
That's who gave me this.
Yeah, that's Androda's design was the pilot design for it, and then I took it and gave it to Javier. I'm like, Javier, make pretty. And he's
Here's
like,
what it looks
okay,
like.
Joe, and he made pretty.
Sticker on. It has these phantom buttons.
Yeah, because there are buttons underneath it that actually.
See?
Yep.
Yeah, but on my other one, I covered it with
a handy floppy drive.
What, this?
sticker.
Yeah.
Oh, no. So this is to put in the older Macs whenever
It's
you're
a little-
going to store them.
It's the head holder thingy.
Yeah, so that the drive doesn't get damaged.
Because Mike's handy has the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's to protect the heads in the drive. So this
Okay,
is
so
to
Designed
store
by
them or travel.
Sony, not Apple.
Cool.
I have one of those somewhere around here. It was in the
Made
box.
in
of junk.
Japan.
How's the auction going? Has anyone checked it today
Auction. Oh, yeah.
for the
It was-
prototype?
I did.
Well, this is made in Japan.
It
Yeah, mine
wasn't-
says made in Japan.
It was still like rather low when I last checked it.
192.168.1.
Yes.
Google? Okay.
Yeah, I just need something in order to function. I don't care what goes in there.
I was also counting my loose change, and for
Wait,
a
Sean,
random
Steve?
unrelated project, and yeah, I don't have enough change in my wallet to buy the Mac.
Oh.
Yeah, it's still the next bid is $2,197 with 21 hours and 47 minutes to go.
What computer is this?
The prototype Mac 128K.
This part.
Oh, I don't care about that at all.
So if I go
Yeah.
here, that one is the.
I have a second week 128. It's close enough.
Yeah, this is that. Yeah, this is the one that Steve released the video on yesterday
Yeah.
that you were asking. Because
Yeah, I went ahead and watched the video. I had forgotten that he had shown those pictures before, but what's funny is that those feet with the little Apple logos in it, I have a external floppy drive, the 400K floppy drive that has those Apple logos.
Just like this.
Apple probably
That's
ordered a
prototype
bunch.
flop.
No
Where
more
do I
switches.
put it though? Where did I even put those? I
They
don't know
probably
if it's over
ordered a
That's it.
bunch, and
I'm all done.
to not waste what they ordered, because they
Did you
probably were convinced they were going to ship with them until probably the people making the prototypes complained that we can't get
So-
these on straight. So they probably
Yeah.
just used them on.
So the next question
Trivial
is when is
products.
Mass Effect making a run of Apple feet with logos? Legitimate question.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
These aren't the ones. Somewhere around here, there's a 400K drive that's got actually has 3 of them because one of the feet's missing.
I'll see. You got to make now for Mac Effect. So
You're gonna have
Adam
to
can
call
pick
that
the
one
Mac.
tripod.
Drive
All
doesn't
right. Well,
work
I got
either.
my day job work done, guys. Yay.
All right.
Yay!
Yay.
Now I can give this
Does
box
that
to
mean
Aaron,
tomorrow
and if Aaron's
you're gonna make
watching,
blue
it's
scuzzies?
done.
So tomorrow at work, are you going to make blue scuzzies because you did work tonight?
No, what is going on tomorrow? That's a good question. Now, I'm actually looking because I'm curious.
Well, I know one thing that's happening tomorrow. I'm
lights
live
down.
streaming again.
Yay!
Awesome.
See, unfortunately, you're live streaming at the exact same time that one of my other friends is live streaming automotive.
Change this.
Gotta
Oh
jump between-
no, I know. It's
Hey,
hard
Jeremy.
to pick a time when no one else is live streaming.
Look,
There's too
Jeremy.
many people on YouTube.
Apparently,
Lights
my
down.
schedule is completely empty tomorrow, so I'm okay with that. No complaints.
Look, I got a thingy.
Ooh, light sound.
Okay.
Here, let's
Although
do
I
this.
wi- I will warn everyone, I am not live streaming until midnight because I'm going to visit someone on Friday. And since RetroTech Chris has been saying it in my chat for weeks now, he can't wait for me to get there.
Yeah.
I and RetroTech Chris are going to be doing some retro shopping up in Northern Virginia Friday.
Awesome.
Neat.
fact, I've
like
already bought something on eBay that I'm picking up in the area. So
Nice.
because I at least have learned one lesson that
Cool.
if there's a way to avoid UPS touching potentially fragile spindler plastic, do it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
in this case, since I'm already going to be there, and this recycler's in Falls Church, I waited, and luckily it was still in stock this week. I waited until like I think it was Tuesday. I realized, okay, Tuesday's a good day to make an offer. Or Monday. I waited till Monday and then I made my offer and they countered and I accepted their counter. So,
Justin, did you get your mailbox fixed?
To keyboard.
yes, I did get my mailbox fixed. I went to the hardware store and I just needed a screw and a lock washer or a lock nut and a nylon washer. So, and now I know when the other whatchamacallit breaks on the other side of the door, I know exactly which screw and lock nut and washer I need.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Joe, I know you didn't design this, but it says to keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
There's no keyboard in the 2GS. So.
I get. Hey, now if you have a stealth 2GS,
yeah, I know. I took this out on my 2GS because I found the prototype one that Bob handmade.
Yeah.
And so I put the prototype in my 2GS because I thought it was cooler. So now I have
awesome.
one of these.
So Jeremy's actually asking about this too. Is the light sound truly out of stock? Is it not available in kit form? Two questions. Question number one, is it truly out of stock? Stares at empty box. Yes. Is it not available in kit form? Stares at all SMD components. No.
Now Bob builds all those and they come the way they come.
Yeah.
Well, you have to assemble the audio bracket.
Yeah.
That's the only thing
you get to put that one together yourself. Yeah, Bob actually has a Lumen PNP pick and place machine. And he with auto feeders and everything. And so he just puts spools in it and puts the Gerber file in it or what have the pick and place data in it and hits go. And it like makes boards. And then he takes the board out of the unit and he puts it on a hot plate and 30 seconds later it's soldered and he takes it off the hot plate and 30 more seconds it's done. It's magic.
Cool.
He is building
a beta test those because I was the only one he knew at the time who had a ROM 0, a ROM 1, and a ROM 3.
Yep. Yep. And we found out that all of the weird audio problems were because of the reactive micro power supply.
Yeah, we figured out that everybody who was beta testing it was using one of those instead of a stock GS power supply.
Yep.
Oh yeah, they put a real power supply and the problem went away. Yeah. Oops.
But Bob is doing a run of 50 of those right now. And I'm going to get those in 2 stacks of 25 here relatively soon, probably in the next week, I'd say. So those will be up for sale again. I might throttle the sales of those the way I throttle the sales of the Blue Scuzzy, only to make sure that people get a fairer chance of getting in on it.
Market manipulation.
Because every time
time gating.
What's that?
Time gating.
Yeah, because every time I put them up and I'm like, hey, they're back in stock, they're literally gone in like 2 hours. They're just gone.
People limited to one each?
Poof. So.
Are people limited to one each on those?
Typically no, but the most I've ever had anybody order was 2.
Okay. I'm just worried that somebody would order 10 and then put them on eBay or whatever.
Yeah, no. I haven't had that problem yet. No.
I do have that problem with Blue Scuzzy.
To stock limit it, so.
Mm-hmm. Somebody in France has been reselling Blue Scuzzies without permission.
I saw that on the Discord.
Yep. Yep. Don't resell Blue Scuzzies without permission, or we will find you and pursue legal action. This has happened before. It was successful. Please stop.
Yeah. Well, Eric said I was okay if I have one and I put it in like a Mac SE, for example, and then resell the Mac SE. That's fine. But just taking the Blue Scuzzy and just selling it, no.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Anyway, I get them free from Tom Barber, so what do I need to buy them for?
Yeah. There are certain limitations. There are certain legal limitations about how that can actually be limited, because technically speaking, in the United States at least, you can resell literally anything you want. There's no real limitation behind that, within certain criteria. So you can't, for example, you would not be able to make your own Blue Scuzzy and sell it as new. That's not allowed. You can buy one from an official manufacturer of the Blue Scuzzy
and resell
it. But then you're just going to be more expensive than the rest of us because you're buying it at retail. Right. So that's the
person in France, what were they doing? Selling their own made version?
Yeah. I don't know.
We don't know where they're getting them from, but they were just selling assembled ones that even had the not for commercial use stuff, I think, on the back.
Yeah, the public Gerber, because it is an open source project. So the Gerber's public. If you want to make your one yourself and go through the whole process of doing it completely from scratch, you're allowed to do that. We don't care about that. Because if you want to go to, the insane rigmarole of what it takes to actually do that and want to be insane like the rest of us, welcome to the party.
That's what I did with the version 1s. I've been making them myself. Yeah.
Yeah. And so
there's one guy on eBay selling them, and he is official, and it is a little bit more money, but I think that was allowed to account for the eBay fees, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah, eBay is expensive.
Evil day.
Yeah. So, but yeah, as I was saying, the public Gerbers, see us developers or resellers, we get the special magic Gerber without the words on it. Basically, except the one time that I did a run of version 1s and forgot to take it off the Gerber or use the right one, so I was distributing ones that say not for distribution. Anyway, I got yelled at for that. But
no, I was laughing because of the other special ones that got distributed.
Oh, the ones without ground planes?
Yeah, the ground planeless special version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, but yeah, if it has the NC clause of the CC license, Francois, I'm not going to get into the details of how it's licensed. You can have that discussion with Eric. I'm not getting into that part. But basically, yeah. So if you see a Blue Scuzzy that's being sold online that is of a similar price to the official resellers, and it has that not for commercial tag on the the board, yeah, they're not following the licensing rule on that. We have a signed agreement that says we are licensed to do it. So the rest of them don't have that. Yep.
Not for commercial sale.
Exactly. If you find a Blue Scuzzy online, that is, if somebody's selling a single because they bought it and they don't need it and they're just selling it at cost, that's one thing. Like they're just selling one to get rid of it. I don't think we really care because we've already sold it. It's already gone through its whole process and it's fine. But if you ever see somebody out there on eBay or Kijiji or whatever they are, that has like 52 in stock or some weird number, and they also don't have their pictures don't have the not for commercial on that, huge red flag. Let us know, so we can either say, hey, you're not allowed to do that, or we can convince them to sign the licensing agreement so that the inventors of the product and the people who maintain the code and the people who maintain the design, that would be Eric and Androta, get their licensing fee, because they don't typically sell a lot of those boards themselves. They leave it to us to do it. With Eric and Androta being the exception at the beginning right now, because of production problems. But their primary job is in the back end of developing the hardware, updating the firmware, putting new features, fixing bugs, tweaking the design, and doing stuff like that. And so because they do that hard work and leave us idiots like me to just like stick solder on point, send outdoor, they get a licensing fee for each one. And so if you're taking the design off the public website and selling that, their work for all those updates, they're not getting their effort recompensated, basically. Like, and then so it's the entire classic piracy thing, right? So we're not so crazy that we put like weird firmware junk in the files so that you can't copy the firmware and do it yourself. And we don't do all that wacky anti-piracy junk, because we know that doesn't work, obviously. But we don't want people breaking the rules and making it, not financially feasible for who's farting, making it not financially feasible for Eric and Androta to keep doing the development to keep it happening. So that's the whole thing. Hopefully I did my evangelism thing correct. Hopefully I didn't say anything wrong and piss off Eric, but
I've got a legal Blue Scuzzy here in my possession.
Is it one of mine that I built that has the tag that says not for commercial?
It's labeled something different. And it looks a little different, but I'm thinking it's a knockoff.
That's not a blue SCSI.
What's a Pi SCSI?
It's a riot SCSI, I know. I've never actually used it. Are they any good? No idea.
They have their ups and downs. The up is the raw performance of the Pi is nuts. So it totally slams the bus of anything you put it on. It's super insano fast.
And it has Ethernet.
It has Ethernet on it. And you can control it, configure it, do stuff over Wi-Fi and all of that cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you plug it into the SCSI port, and then you've got that Dana SCSI, Dana Flyer, whatever it's called, Dana port SCSI Ethernet on it and all that cool stuff.
So the only problem with mine, what it's missing.
The $150 impossible to find Raspberry Pi.
You got it, sir, and that's why it's here. I ordered it just before COVID, and then Pies went nuts.
Yeah, they disappeared.
Yeah, the price is crazy on them.
Yeah,
there's a guy selling them here in Newfoundland. He was like $250 a Pi.
Whew.
I'm like, you're
That's
nuts.
crazy.
My personal dislike of it's not a dislike, it's a concern. I haven't kept up with the project in the last, say, year or so. So I don't know if they've worked on this to correct this, but it runs Linux, not like a torn down kind of what is it called? A Casper based or Squash FS or any of that kind of loop file system or anything like that. It's just like a standard file system.
Yep.
So when you shut your Mac down, if you have an auto power off Mac and you're powering the Pi from the Mac, it just shuts it off. It could be in the middle of caching changes to the hard drive file back or messing with the file system or anything. And I found that it likes to eat hard drive files. So you've got to like power it externally and then remember if you're not going to be using the Mac for a while to SSH into it and shut the thing off. And so
I like mine so much that it's sitting here loose. That tells you anything.
Yeah. So that extra layer to me is a pain in the butt, but that's just me. Yeah. I mean, those of you who are like hardcore Linux folks and they're like, oh yeah, I just and type it and it doesn't bother you like it bothers me, like trying to put hot pokers into my eyes.
Well, even then, I mean, looking at just the pure aesthetics, I mean, look how chunky that is and how much space it takes up in the case. Yeah, that's ginormous.
This isn't a potato Fi case that can mount on the back of an SE or an SE30, but
that's a lot of space.
I would rather have other things, and I've also since found Ethernet cards and video cards and things that I want to use in that slot.
Yeah.
And I can put a blue SCSI in, and it's just acts like a hard drive. I don't have to. This is like running a whole other extra computer.
Yep.
I don't want to do that.
It's not like it.
It kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that brings the next question: is something like blue SCSI only going to be blue SCSI, or are there plans to add extra functionality?
There is, so the blue SCSI version 2 uses the Raspberry Pi Pico,
right.
Which it was a no-brainer. When we're getting the blue pills for like $4 and the Raspberry Pi Pico is also $4 and it is about 25 times more powerful. It was no brainer to switch to that. However, if you were to say have a blue SCSI kit, but you didn't have a Pico and you wanted to go out and buy your own Pico, you could buy a Pico W, put it on it with the current firmware, and it would work just like any other blue SCSI. But it has this wonderful wireless adapter on it.
Right.
So at some point in the future, and this has been discussed, I don't believe there's any hard and fast plans right now, but in the future, it is theoretically possible that the Pico could be programmed to have, I don't know, a Pico W, for example, could be programmed to have, say, SCSI ID6 permanently attached to an internal hard drive image or internal ROM image that has the driver and software required to emulate a Dana port. And then it just works. And then because Blue SCSI's its killer app, in my opinion, is the Toolkit API that Eric has programmed, where you can talk from the Mac over the SCSI connector directly to the Pico's controller, you could, in theory, program settings on the controller from inside the Mac. So take the Raspberry Pi. To connect that to Wi-Fi, you've got to like remote into its SSH and do the thing. Right? With the Blue SCSI toolkit and that API interface, you could have a small program that you just run on your Mac, and it's like, connect your old Mac to Wi-Fi,
Click here.
and it sends it over to the Pico, and it just connects.
That'd be cool.
Now, this is all theoretical. This is all, like, we've been just kind of throwing around ideas in the back channel type stuff.
There's no reason why the Pi couldn't do like TCP/IP forwarding. You know, as a mock interface for getting online on the older Macs that don't have, you know, like new bus cards or something in them. So yeah, I wouldn't see why that wouldn't work. Even just forwarding packets.
It would have to be
like an old Apple Talk network.
Yeah, in the case of the Pico W, because it's got effectively an Ethernet connection. It's got Wi-Fi in it, right? You wouldn't need all of that magic forwarding at all.
No,
it emulates a data port. I think it's called a data port. I could have that name wrong, but
there's two things. There's a data port, which is what the raw SCSI, Pi SCSI emulates. So there's also a couple other brands of that. I have one that's made by Asante. It does the same thing.
Yeah, it's a SCSI internet. It's a SCSI Ethernet connection, and it just emulates that, and it just works. Right. And you just install the driver for the version of the OS you have, and it magically is there. And then using
that interface,
again,
though, the toolkit it's really API. Slow.
What's that?
Even the original SCSI Ethernet hardware is very slow. So,
and it's going to be because it's a 5 megabit connection,
right?
When you think about it, and that 5 megabit connection is shared amongst all devices on that bus.
And the real hardware is half duplex to top it off.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, knowing how Eric has been really digging deep into 68K code, there is a possibility that at least on the older Macs, maybe some magical new interface system could be built.
Software.
That isn't any of those old systems. It doesn't emulate one of those old systems. It is just a new thing, and you install the driver, and it just, I don't know. This is all, we're just throwing around ideas in the background.
Eco pie in the sky.
Yep.
Yeah. There's no.
See, what I would like to see is like a Wi-Fi connection that I could put on like the image writer or something. That instead of having the hard cable, it'd be good to have some type of interface that you could plug.
We're waiting up 2 seconds. Steve should be here. He heard the word image writer.
Wireless image writers. What?
On the back signal.
No, the image writer needs a local talk card, and it's not standard, and it's not Ethernet. It's local talk. So
I have a pile of those. So I mean, I can't imagine it'd be difficult to make something that could emulate that, and simplify it.
I don't see why you couldn't use a blue SCSI on the Amiga if you have a SCSI card.
You can. Yeah,
you can.
It has been tested and confirmed.
Yeah, that works. It works on a lot of stuff with SCSI.
I believe the older, like the 500, might have a problem.
The 500 doesn't have onboard SCSI, so it depends on which add-on you choose.
Because certain ones are not truly SCSI. They're like SASI or some sort of weird offshoot, so they kind of sort of don't work.
Some of the Atari stuff's like that too.
Yeah, the Atari has a TASCII or whatever.
Did Kate get her blue SCSI working in the next chapter? I don't remember.
I think she did.
Yeah.
I think she did. And Dave D'Amico got his working on the X68K, or at least the version 2. I had to ship him version 2. The version 1, it was being stupid. So I sent him version 2 and was like, this just works. So, yeah.
Oh, well, now I don't think he's released that video yet.
It's public for me, and I'm not a patron of his.
Maybe he did release.
Oh, that's hilarious. Sorry.
I wasn't thinking he got to the blue SCSI in that video, but maybe I was distracted when he did it.
Do you guys remember that Hell in Hell Apple II that I bought that was framed as artwork?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's public. Yeah, it's
Okay.
So
there. It
that
is.
that motherboard and keyboard and all that worked.
Oh yeah.
Just the power supply was the raw power supply, which is mounted onto that frame also. So I just put it in a shell and replaced the Rifa, and it works.
Nice.
Hey. Cool.
How many Apple IIs is this now? Are you to 50 yet?
No, I sold 2, so I'm down to 46.
Jesus.
Those are
Oh
rookie
my
numbers. You
gosh.
got to put those up.
This
Oh,
is the
no.
third 2E I repaired today, though. That's completely working.
Oh wow.
You're just gonna be like Oprah at
Like,
VTF.
I like having
You're getting an Apple
4
II. You're getting
Apple
an
IIs.
Yes.
And he's over here flexing. Yeah, I fixed 4 and sold them today. I'm like, you ass.
Okay, I have to ask you,
I
Adam.
love you, but don't.
Did you by chance recently buy a 2E off eBay that had an RGB card in it?
No.
Okay. I was
didn't see
curious.
I might have bought it if I'd seen it.
Ah, okay. Well, I didn't mention it before the auction ended because I was trying to bid on it.
What did it go for?
If you get an Apple IIe with a digital RGB card, and you want to be able to connect that to an Apple II GS monitor or a CGA monitor, over on JCM-1, I've got adapters that will convert that for you.
Oh, nice.
That's a good question. I
Hey,
don't
did they
remember
have-
what it went for.
Did they have
Only
an
the-
adapter for the Sync on Green? So that you can use a regular monitor?
This card?
A regular monitor on what?
What was it I have? That 2SI.
Oh, yeah.
Do I have that? Is that what you're asking?
What card? What are you looking for?
I was looking to see if they had
You
an
can-
adapter for Sync on Green for like the 2SI.
You can get one of these doodles that VGAs it, but it's got like 87 more dips.
Yeah,
And it somehow separates the sync on green out to the sync pin.
I'm gonna have to look about that.
Yeah, those are hard
I
to get.
think I have one of those actually.
2SI and 2CI and the original LC, they all need oddity to get them to work with a modern monitor.
Well,
In
I have
theory,
I
you
have an
can-
Apple monitor here, a Macintosh color display model. Where is it here?
I
can't
love one
find
of the Fever Dreams idea. I love this.
Oh, God.
M1212. So I had thought that maybe that should work.
M1212 is the little Trinitron that swivels. Is that right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, that monitor is basically fixed at 67 hertz, 640 by 480. That should work just directly with a 2SI without any problem at
Okay,
all.
so I shouldn't have to worry about an adapter.
Nope.
Okay.
That's probably one of the best monitors to have for messing around with old Macs. That and the 13-inch RGB. I don't remember the model number off the top of my head. It's the one that's the big chunkier one that came up right before that one.
I think I have one of those too.
Yeah.
I got a lot of
The,
crap laying around.
He's like the shop you go and they're like, oh, I got one in the back. Hold on.
I'm
Yeah.
serious. I'm like the Mac Sanford and Sons. I'm not even kidding. I've got it laying around here somewhere.
Oh, that guy.
Oh, that's nice.
So
Yeah.
tell me, that is an RGB card, isn't it?
Looks like it to me.
Because that's a RamWorks
That
3.
is a piggyback card for RamWorks that card is very cool. It has 2 outputs. The one that you see there is actually like a CGA style output. And then below that, which you can't see, I think it's like a 16 pin IDC connector is the equivalent of the Apple digital RGB connector.
Huh.
Bummer.
What's the one in the far back with the little rainbow cable out of it?
I think that's the.
That's
I
the
think
piggyback card. The card right next to the power supply, that's not in a slot. That's actually hooked onto that RAM card.
Oh, no kidding.
There's a good
Yep.
picture of that if you go to the Apple II Cards group on Facebook.
Yeah.
One of the admins recently posted a picture of that taken apart so you could see the whole board.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
I have that RamWorks 3 card in my Platinum 2E, and instead of that piggyback card, I have a modern card that I got from Playman in Bulgaria, that gives you a VGA out.
Oh wow.
Yep. I have the same. Yep.
There's what it went for: $99.76. Plus,
$99.76, $99.76.
66 shipping.
As many
Plus-
2Vs as I buy, I can't look at all of them on eBay
Yeah.
and find them all.
plus
Oh, well, I could-
$65 shipping, which is
Oh,
why I couldn't bid as
ew.
much as I wanted to.
That's my
I've
mortgage.
been looking
Canada.
for. I keep looking for LCs all over the place and looking at pictures of the back, trying to find a 2E card that's just like there.
Yeah.
I think people are wising up to the
Card.
2E card.
Yeah, I know.
Darn it.
What does it look like?
Your mom.
A 2E card.
It might. I don't know. The 2E card. What's that look like?
Well,
It's
2E
got a-
interface card with a right angle connect, like PDS connector, but from the back, the way you can tell it is it has a weird, what is it, like a triple row?
It's a
DB.
triple row 39 pin connector that's about as wide as like the DB15
Not bad.
or DB25. There you go.
Yeah,
Joe's got one.
it's
You're
the
looking
same
for
exact
that right
connector
there.
as what's on my.
Is it this?
I can't see how many pins you got
It's
there.
3 rows.
It's got 3 rows.
That's
No,
a
that's
that's
no,
a
that's
DOS
a-
card.
that's a DOS card. That has nothing to do with it.
Wrong thing. Hang on.
Yeah.
Probably have one though.
Just gotta check out back. Hold on.
Yeah, hang on.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I do though.
I'm surprised you didn't find a couple 2E cards in the cement mixer with all that
Oh yeah.
equipment from the
Ryan.
school.
Oh yeah. Well, we're going back to the school now in June sometime or July.
Oh, there's
to
got to
actually
be Apple.
school. So hopefully that's where all the Apple IIs are hiding.
I've got a DOS card for the 7200.
Oh,
Ginormous.
oh, nice.
Okay, that's the Y cable. Yes.
That shows Y
Joe,
cable.
Does that Y
cable.
cable? Does that Y work for this card then?
No.
The
No.
DOS compatibility? Different Y.
No.
That one uses a completely different cable.
The 2E card gives
Too
you
many
a joystick port and a 5 1/4 inch floppy port. The card you have, you need DV15 video and other shenanigans.
Gotcha. Different Y
I
cable.
contemplated making an adapter for that one too. As I yawn to say.
Well, gentlemen, it's been a slice, but I need to go to sleep.
Sleep time! That's right. You're like an hour and a half ahead of us or something, aren't you?
Yeah, it's 11:43 here right now.
Yes. Yep.
All
All
right.
right. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate
Have a good one, Ryan.
appreciate you being our
Interesting.
co-host. It's been super awesome.
Have a fantastic evening, gentlemen.
Yep.
You too. Have a good one.
Take care.
Bye.
Now I found another couple cards, but
Thank
they're new
God
left
he's gone.
cards.
Oh wait, no, I'm kidding.
I'm still
Uh,
here.
Macintosh 2 PC drive card.
Oh, Joe
That's-
missed that part, didn't he?
Ginormous.
That's an interesting card.
I have one of those.
Yeah, it lets you plug a 5 1/4 inch floppy drive into your Apple.
Right.
Those are
And-
very hard
No,
to
this-
find.
Yeah,
And then I've got another one, a Radius one, made 1988. Mac
probably
2 2-page display.
Boring.
Yeah. Good luck. Good luck
Sorry.
finding the 2-page
Sorry.
display that
Yeah,
goes
the
to.
reason those are boring is because you can't get a monitor that runs at that resolution or frequency, and there are 900 of those cards on eBay for like
Interesting.
$20. But that floppy controller card,
Yeah.
those are hard to get. I spent a year trying to find one of those,
Well,
and
I
I
got
finally
one.
got one. But then you also have to find the Apple 5 1/4 inch PC drive.
I think I actually do have that though for sure. I did
Yeah.
see that in a box.
Can you adapt a regular drive with a cable?
You could probably do that because the drive inside that Apple drive is just the TIAC.
Standard
PC TIAC.
drive.
Yeah.
I believe IBM has a floppy drive with a similar connector that it is not compatible.
And yeah, I've got a pile of these Image Writer Local Talk cards.
Image
cool.
Rider.
Don't
I
say
got-
that too loud.
I got one of those, but it's in the box and it's sealed, and I don't want to open it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I got a bunch of these.
I've got an image writer. I kind of wish it had one of those.
Frank
But
has
I
been
don't- I
making
don't
me
know-
jealous all week.
I
with the
got all
pictures of,
kinds of
look
stuff.
at this I have, and look at that I have, and I'm like, you jerk, give it to me.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
got a lot
Justin,
of stuff.
you could plug your image writer into whatever old Mac that's on your network, and then
And
just
share
turn
it.
printer sharing on.
Oh yeah, that works too.
Yep.
Because I don't even know if my image writer actually has the port for it. Because I was thinking some of the
Um,
image writers don't have it.
I told Logan that I fixed that weird power supply, and then he, by coincidence, said, "Hey, do you have any extra Apple IIe cards?" And I said no, and he says, "I want to clone it." I'm like, "Good luck."
He wants to clone what an app? What? He wants to clone what?
He wants to clone an Apple IIe card. Good luck getting a Mega 2 chip.
Yeah, hold on. Let me contact Ken Sharif and have him strip and photograph the chip for us.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever used an ELF computer?
Sounds familiar.
They used to come in like a Heathkit type thing.
I think I heard of that.
I found a bunch of boards for the ELF 2.
You know what those are good for?
Whole box
stealing
of
parts
stripping
for
chips.
old apples.
That's what I was gonna say. Stripping chips. That's what I figured I'd save it for.
I think it's funny that Logan started buying old arcade boards because he wanted to get the chips for old Apple IIs from the 70s.
That's not a bad idea.
And then he got involved in the arcade boards, and now he's like building arcade boards.
Oh my god.
We have reached peak ADHD, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm still staring this 2CI board that I don't know if this is a sign that this was an early 2CI that someone didn't remove the darn battery from. I don't know if Joe might make me big for a moment or two so I can show this.
Make Justin big.
But so one of the labels fell off while I was ultrasonically cleaning this, and I shouldn't be surprised. But I thought the 2CI all had mask ROMs. And yet, these are actually some sort of EEPROM.
Oh, yeah. Must be early.
Down here are mask ROM or EEPROMs.
Okay, well, also they're plastic clips on this one, whereas my other 2CI board has metal clips. But yeah, there's the battery damage and the oscillator that will never oscillate again, and the real-time clock chip that's probably toast.
Tasty.
But I put this through the ultrasonic cleaner after I filmed my shorts, and I released a couple of them. And
you filmed your shorts? We don't want to see that.
And actually, I think this board might be salvageable because
it doesn't look that bad. Honestly.
It doesn't. Yeah, I was gonna say it doesn't.
The bottom is where the worst part is, but I did some strategic scraping, as you can see there in the middle of the board.
Yeah.
What I thought was trace damage under the solder mask, I think it's just solder mask damage. So while I'll have to scrape a lot of solder mask on this board to confirm that it's just solder mask damage, I think the bulk of the damage is right there. And I'm willing to buy a crystal and an oscillator to see if this board might not work. And yes, I will now put tape back over the EEPROM before the internet has a aneurysm.
I bet you that board would be fine. It looks like it was probably stored on its side. That's probably why the battery damage went down to the right there.
Probably.
Because I had one that was stored on its back, and the whole board is all the way back to the SCSI, and the DV19 on the back is destroyed.
You mean the one you gave me?
No, that was a 2CX, Joe.
Oh, okay.
Anyways,
same batch, different computer.
Interestingly enough, my other 2CI board had no battery damage at all. I mean, it had leaky caps, but no battery damage. And still don't know what's wrong with it.
Oh, that sucks.
I'm still working on a 2SI that I got. I'm hoping some power supplies that Adam had will help me fix it.
Oh yeah, I gotta mail those to you.
So,
well, it's not going anywhere.
Hey, look, the back of this 2E lid. Somebody needed some help figuring out where. Look, this drive.
I've seen a lot of that.
Printer.
Where people actually label all the ones that only have one thing that can plug into them.
It's got to be like somebody set their dad up or their mom up with this thing.
At least they used labels and not permanent markers straight on the case.
Oh, have you seen my 8500 though, where they wrote CD-ROM?
Yeah,
on the CD-ROM.
They wrote it on the case with permanent marker.
I would prefer permanent marker.
That's easy to get off.
Yeah. Absolute savages who use masking tape, and not this kind, the old school yellow kind.
That's a pain in the butt to get off.
That every time you remove that masking tape, more than 5 minutes later, it turns into slime.
Look what the feet do, the rubber feet.
Yep, from the drive sitting on top.
That's yummy.
I saw a Mac logic board on eBay. I think it's still there. that I think it had rubber feet sitting on top of the case that it was in for so long that the case turned to a liquid and oozed into the computer and onto the logic board, because there are several white spots of what looks like a liquid on the board, but it doesn't look like a viscous liquid. It looks like rubber feet remains. After I stared at it, I'm like, what is this?
Careful, you're going to get my channel demonetized.
I think I'm going to keep this 2E. You know why? Because it's got the old school thing where the keyboard is mounted to the base, and every single chip on the entire logic board is socketed.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, that's great for...
This is a good diagnostic machine to keep. It's ugly, which is also helpful because then I don't have to clean it up because it's just going to sit here being a test machine.
I mean, I was searching for, I think, Quadra 650 and Macintosh 2 VI, VX logic boards, if anyone wants to go find the board that had slime on it. But yeah. I also found something that was just distressing. It was a Macintosh 2 CI, or so it seemed at first, that someone had put a Quadra 700 logic board in, but they took a Dremel to the case because the holes don't line up on the two logic boards. I think the Quadra 700 has more circular ports than the CI.
They're similar. I've seen a 2CX that somebody cut up DB15 hole in to put a 2CI board in. I hate it when people do that. Whoever did that's a jerk.
Yeah, they did. They didn't even try to cut straight. It was sloppy, and they used permanent marker all over the case to write what the ports were too.
Evil, pure.
There's icons on the case.
And the worst part, they wanted $200 for this atrocity, and the battery had gone off. Obviously.
Oh, well, at $5.
Yeah.
For the lid. I want $5.
Yeah. To their credit, they actually did say not working, because they admitted in the description they tried to power it up and it death chimed, and that there was battery that had gotten into the first SIM slot. And I look at it and I realize that, I see why you death chimed. 30-pin SIM slot, and there is one pin that's not making contact at all. Yeah, I bet you did death chime real quick. But yeah, there was
Joe. I got that 2CX for free, and it had battery death. But I kept the bracket, the drive bracket, and the lid because my 2CI had a shattered lid.
Yeah.
So then Joe wanted parts off of it. So instead of bringing him just the board or just the part, I brought him the husk of it with the whole rusty nastiness, and he really liked that.
Yeah, and then last weekend I was getting into the machine for something, and I'm like, "Ow! Why are my hands wet and in pain?"
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, that works.
So
my sound test.
Yeah, I won't be bidding on that Quadra 700 atrocity because it's overpriced for the work you'd probably have to put in, because where the battery went, you could tell from looking at chip legs. You're obviously having to remove that SIM slot, but it's actually a double SIM slot. So you have to remove 2 SIM slots to be able to replace them. And you're going to have to find I think they're angled. So you have to find the angled ones. Although maybe they're not
every
angled.
time you remove it, you're one step closer to the clip breaking.
Exactly. And then there's a couple chips around the SIM slots. You probably got to remove and inspect around those. Mm-hmm. And I think the real-time clock chip looked real iffy on it too. And that's where the PRAM's stored. So it was like, ooh, nope. Yeah. $200 is way overpriced.
But it's a Quadra 700, man.
Yeah, but it sure didn't look like the one I saw in Jurassic Park.
I had 2 of them for a while. I sold one.
Also, if anyone's wondering, on a complete side tangent, the Pentium 2 system, I actually found an I/O shield for it that fits it properly.
You want to see something magical, Justin? The 9600 I bought has a functional 4 gigabyte SCSI drive.
Wow.
And it's Apple brand.
It's
And it's got an
a
Apple
Seagate
logo on it.
Barracuda. It's stock from '97 when it was bought, and it
That's
still
crazy.
works.
Well, those drives were built like a tank.
Guess what's
Unlike
crazy is
the-
if I have this and I hook a Blue SCSI to the system, even on a different bus, everything freaks out and stops copying, read error, write error. It's insane. But I hooked up Eric's SATA card, the one with the ROM change on it, and I hooked up this ancient Western Digital SATA drive. But look, it's so ancient it's got a Molex.
Oh wow, yeah.
And I copied this onto this over SATA. It took like 3 minutes, where it was taking over an hour on a Blue SCSI. Then I got rid of the SCSI drive, hooked up the Blue SCSI version 2, and then copied the data from the SATA drive to the Blue SCSI. Took 5 minutes. Then I took this out, and now it boots off the Blue SCSI, just like it was like faster than this thing.
Wow.
What
amazing.
what machine was that again?
Interesting.
PowerMac 9600 200.
There's got to be something weird with the SCSI controller on that, because I've got a 7300 200. That's
Same
probably of a
basic
similar
thing.
design.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's 2 SCSI buses on it. There's a slow and a fast, and
Yeah.
I tried the Blue SCSI on the same bus as that hard drive and on the opposite bus, like the external bus.
Yeah.
Read errors
It's-
constantly. It just
it's-
wouldn't work
it's-
right.
Yeah, it doesn't like it. The built-in hard drive in the machine though, in my 7300 just works perfectly.
Yeah, well, the thing is, once I unhooked the Blue SCSI, so I had it on their first boot in case it worked to back up.
Yeah.
So I just assumed the drive was failing for hours. I thought this drive's just dying. As soon as I just said, well, let's unhook the Blue SCSI and just boot it. It worked great. It was noisy, but it worked great. And I'm like, I even asked Eric about it on the Blue SCSI Discord, and he was like, try this. And then I finally figured out, well, you just sent me the SATA card. Why don't I try that out and forget the Blue SCSI for the moment? And those two together worked fine. And the 9600 sees the SATA card as just a third SCSI bus. That's all how it addresses it.
Yep.
But it works perfectly. And this SATA hard drive I have is just as old as all the rest of that stuff.
And that SCSI bus chip has just got to be garbage.
You are not the first person that's thought there's something up with the SCSI bus on the 9600.
Well, I think
Paging
what I'm gonna-
Exodium. Paging Exodium.
I got a 9600 Blue SCSI version 2 front panel, so I'm going to put a Blue SCSI version 2 in there in that open bay, but I'm not going to boot from that. I'm going to put the SATA card in, and I'm going to get an SSD, and I'm just going to boot the machine from that, and the Blue SCSI is going to be an auxiliary helper drive.
Yep.
I put a Blue SCSI V2 in my 9600 tower here, and it works pretty well. I haven't had any problems with mine.
It works okay as long as there's nothing else on the bus with it.
I was called.
Oh, I put CD drive.
A CD drive's on there, but any other hard drive, and it goes like, nah, I don't want to work right.
Interesting.
Exodium, we were talking about your 9600 shenanigans and how every time you think about it, you wish it would die in a garbage fire.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be a way to like make the bus speed go faster on that thing. There really does.
50 megahertz.
Well,
there you go. That's what you get.
Well,
Actually,
if
you
you
can run it at 60 if you get it like a G3 card and you can change the ratio. You could probably get away with 60 or maybe a little above that, but that you're not going to run it at 75 or 100 megahertz. It's just not going to.
No, I'm thinking just to get it in line with a beige G3 would be good enough.
Well, beige G3 is 66, so you're never going to get that high.
Yeah, I mean, get it close. I mean, just that's a problem I think that was mentioned even when that machine was new, was that the bus speed kind of let it down a little bit.
I have this crazy idea. You could just buy a beige G3.
I already have one. I just need to put a new power supply in it.
Part of it's the challenge of making the old thing do things it was never supposed to do.
Yeah.
It's like, ha ha ha!
Case in point, DOS dude 1.
Jeremy is asking me in the chat if I have an SE that I would part with. I've got like 8 of them. Just send me a PM somewhere, Discord or Twitter or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, just give DOS dude 1 a couple years. He'll.
I have this SE right here. It's not regular though. Oh wait, I have to do the thing.
Where'd Joe
The
go?
pointer.
There's the SE right there.
Joe's seeing how long we can.
So your SE back there that looks like Slimer, is it an actual green case or did somebody paint it green?
No, it's a green translucent case here.
Oh, no kidding.
Ooh,
It's a MacFX
dude.
case.
It doesn't have its back on.
Mm-hmm.
It's an
So it's
SE30.
naked. That's
Right.
pretty cool
But-
though.
ready?
What?
I like that. That's pretty cool.
It's the same Mac Effects case as his, except mine's clear.
How about my
Interesting.
keyboard though?
And then it's got the green.
That's
it's
pretty
got-
cool.
Yep. And then he's got the same thing, except he put a green tube in his.
That's pretty neat,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, I
Yep.
took the
So
green
his
tube
is
out of the
Falcontosh
2C.
and mine's Pumpkintosh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, Javier has
Yeah.
a green
This
one
looks
too.
like Slimer.
Say,
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
and then there's a matching ADB mouse.
No kidding.
And that one's, the mouse. And that one's Blueberry Tosh.
That's pretty awesome.
You haven't
Actually
put the
gonna
blue
put this over
film on
here.
the CRT yet, though.
I decided against it because it doesn't really make it. You can't really tell.
Oh,
I got a
oh, that is true. That the phosphor they used is kind of like a bluish white.
It's
phosphor.
bluish, but it's still it's still a little bit on the white
I've
side.
seen people make clear cases for some odd Macs that have all the metal RF
Well-
shielding where you can't really see inside of it anyway.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
Kind
Well-
of weird.
I'm prototyping the latest Mac Effects case, the invisible case.
yeah,
Belong-
but I just got a
It
clear,
belonged
a
to
clear SE
to
case
the-
last month. I haven't used it yet, and then I've got a clear Apple IIe that I got last year.
That's pretty neat.
The clear
Oh,
case
yeah.
2E is great.
Yeah, I also got the black one, which is silly because it's like the shiny. It's the same as the clear one, but it's all shiny and glossy black. And the only reason I wanted it was because it came with a black keyboard.
It's just like the that sounds
Requires
like
a
all
lot of
the
dusting.
like
I was gonna put it in a regular
yeah.
case and then paint the case black like a
Mhm.
Bell and Howell, like use the Bell and Howell gray color, and then put a Bell and Howell badge on it, and so it would be a Bell and Howell 2E instead of a Bell and Howell 2 Plus.
Mm-hmm. Look at
Oh,
that the
man.
shelf of Macs he's got. This shelf of
I
compacts.
know, that's awesome, right?
It's
The shelf of
great.
what?
The
Max.
compacts up there by the Coke bottle, and you're
Oh,
out
yeah,
of
that's
time.
just the trio of SE models. There's an FDHD, a Super Drive, and a regular. No SE30 up there though. I like the stack of Apple boxes on the other shelf, which I'm about to get help with completing that collection.
Yep.
That shelf looks like it's about to fall off the wall, sir.
Those are like masonry screws that are jammed in there. The shelves are just cheap. What I do with those is every 3 months I'll take everything off the shelf, flip the shelf over,
Flip it over.
and then
Because
Yeah.
see where the keyboards are right now. That's where all the 5 1/4 inch and 3.5 inch floppy drives used to be, and I moved them to the Apple II area, which
Mhm.
is over. Oh wait, hold on, I gotta reset OBS
We're in
real
the
quick
dark.
to show you.
black hole.
Yeah, I still have
He,
that bug with
he
it.
stores them in the void.
I have that new area over there.
We
Still no video.
Oh
We
shit, I
see
forgot
nothing.
to hit start there. So over there.
All we
Oh,
see
there we
is
go.
all we see is Kroll.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So all those drives moved over there, and that's where I put the Bell and Howell and the 2GS. And right now there's an Atari here, and this has become the stack up computers that work, but I don't know where the hell to put them pile right now. So the other day before Dave's stream, I was trying to organize, and this all happened, and I haven't had time to clear it.
I
So it
know how
looks
that goes.
like a proto Mac 84 floor here.
Oh my gosh, man.
Adam, were you sending that husk as well?
I gotta test it. That's why I wasn't gonna just send you stuff immediately.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
You can actually see up here. There's some SE30 empties. I got to
Oh,
figure
yeah.
out if any of them work. I think
Okay.
I know for sure one of those has got a necked CRT, so I
Mhm.
got to figure out which one that is, so I don't send you that one.
Yeah, yeah. No worries. I appreciate it. And then I'll hunt for a board.
Where is this? Well, they've got the reloaded boards now, so you can.
I saw K-Mac had some.
He's giving
yeah.
one away.
I
He's-
did. I entered in the drawing because I think Garth had sent me the link for it. So I did enter in the drawing yesterday. But for $150, you can send him your old SE30 junk board, and he'll do a transplant.
Yeah.
Minimum of 150. There might be some extra parts you're gonna have to buy.
Mhm.
But that's not bad either.
Oops.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, no,
I'm
that's a
glad
good
he's
deal.
providing
That's a
that
lot of
service
work.
Oh my
because I
gosh,
don't
yeah.
want to.
Well, I watched part of the one stream where
so
he
much
was
work.
doing one, and it was over 6 hours.
Well,
Yeah,
I did
You
an
know,
it's
it's
a
SE
like,
lot of work.
holy
reloaded
cow.
myself. I did not an SE30. I did the regular SE.
Yeah.
It took me months of like every couple hours
Oh,
here
I
and
believe
there
it. Yeah,
because it's just
that's a lot of
and,
time.
and the thing is, mine still doesn't have the PDS socket on it because I'm just like, nah, I don't need that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really feel like soldering 96 connector.
Oh my gosh.
Well, the thing is, if
Yeah,
I want to use the PDS and an SE, I'll just pull one down from the shelf and plug it into that one because those all work fine. I only did the SE because I just thought it would be fun.
See,
Yeah.
if I was doing
It
something
wasn't.
like that, my brain works differently to where I'm like $150 and it took me like 20 hours. Like, what's that work out to per hour?
Yeah, I thought
It's like,
about
good God.
I thought about doing an LC reloaded on my LC board because it's got some weird problem with it. So that
It's
it
an
would
LC. That's the problem.
That's probably the problem. But it would force me to have to remove all the ICs and inevitably
That's a
maybe
lot of
find
work.
there's something under one of them. But there are so many surface mount components on the bottom of the LC. I'm like, no, I don't have the patience for this.
You're better off finding another LC board.
You know,
Which
that
Garth sent me one, but it had some weird quirk with it too.
Huh.
Although maybe I fixed it. Maybe.
When Will orders the SE30 boards, though, he orders it with all of those little things on the bottom pre-populated.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. I'd have to order the LC board the same way, but I found the Gerbers for the LC reloaded board, but they don't have the files for having the pick and place done in the GitHub.
Yeah, the Bola board for the SE30 has that, and so does I think, what was it? The SE board, maybe? I don't remember. One of the other ones had it. So you don't have to do the bottom board of the board, which is just monotonous, tiny caps and resistors and stuff.
That's a lot.
So maybe I'll
Forgot to hold out.
maybe I'll submit a bug or submit a defect to that GitHub for the LC reloaded and see if they can't post the files for doing the pick and place.
Mm-hmm.
Did Exodium's internet fail, or
why Windows?
what are you doing, Joe?
Just like,
let's finish setting up your PC. You know what's funny is I have a PC set up in the living room that all it does is on this little 15-inch Sony monitor, it shows the weather.
Oh wow!
And it's running Windows 10, and every 2 or 3 months it just says, "Let's finish setting up." Like some update runs it, and it acts like it's a new computer again. I'm like, hey,
and we hold
just
down
show
shift
the
while
weather.
clicking shut down, so it'll actually turn off properly.
No, run all the updates.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna get ready and hop off of here.
Yep, I'm getting ready to
Almost
shut down
11.
the stream anyway.
Yeah,
So
I was just about to say the same thing.
Yep.
Bedtime.
Well, it is
thank you.
we'll just call it as the end of the stream. We've been going for a little over 3 hours. This was super duper fun. Got to do some real day job work on my Hump Day backlog, as I call it, with some of my friends here in the chat. You guys were super awesome and made this mind-numbing, boring work fun. It was great. Thank you to all the people that were in the chat as well. One Bit Fever Dreams and Francois and Drake and Jeremy and the other Frank and I'm scrolling, and if I missed your name, whatever. Great Sloopy Malibu was there, and all the other people. So thank you all for stopping by as well. The stream is now a Zoom call. Yeah, we're just kind of hanging out talking. So yeah, thanks for all stopping by. If you liked this stream, all 6 of you who are watching, that's cool. Hit the like button. That tells YouTube to promote my channel to people who watch content like you watch, if that makes sense. So it helps spread the word and show more people our cool stuff and bring more people into this awesome little community. If you're not subscribed to my channel, subscribe. Like, hit the button so that you know when I'm doing things. And if you want to support my channel and support my awesome stuff, like these wonderful people here on the screen who are doing that, you can go to jcm-1.com and pick up things like Blue Scuzzies or keyboard encoders or my Y cable adapters, all types of other cool stuff that helps me do the operation here. You can support me on Patreon at Joe's Computer Museum on Patreon for as little as $1 a month. You could be on one of my streams with me and you can hang out. And you can like hang out with us in the Discord where we chat all day instead of doing real day job work. Shh, don't tell my boss. He's probably watching. No, seriously. and things like that, or you get cool things like if you at the higher tiers you get like t-shirts and mugs, and I just kind of like give you things and stuff. So Justin knows this. He's been one of my highest tier supporters for like, I don't know, 8 quadrillion years. Thank you, Justin.
You're welcome, Joe.
So, yeah. So you can do that, or you can follow me on the Garbage Fire site, Twitter at Museum Joe, or you can follow me on Mastodon at Museum Joe at oldbytes.space. Well, that is all for tonight. Again, thank you all for stopping by. 8 bits are all you need, and have a great evening, everybody. Bye. I clicked.